An absolutely thrilling finish to our 6A title game, and now we move on to our 7A title game from Husky Stadium in DeKalb. You are watching the IHSA State Finals on NBC Sports Chicago. I'm Sierra Santos alongside Edgy Tim. And Edgy, that was a really fun game. We just said it. It was especially fun down the stretch. And what can we expect from this next game? You're talking about Batavia's size and Lake Zurich's speed.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, the last two games, we're going to see a lot of defense. 4 great defenses, 2 here in the 7A game, and again, just expect an absolute war starting in the 7A game.
7A, 8A, really good defense. Let's go up to the guys in the booth, and they're going to take a look at some key players to watch. Take it away, Hub Arkish and Dave Bernhardt.
Well, thank you very much, Sierra. You know, much like Edgy said, you take a look at these teams, break them down on paper, break them down on film. Hub, they just strike me as so evenly matched coming into this one.
Yeah, they really are. There's no huge size advantage here. Both teams are going to play great defense. They're going to be balanced on offense, but neither one real likely to start running away with the score. This is about the defense, is about pursuit, and the linebacker play in particular.
Each of these teams give up an average of 9 points per ball game. And speaking of linebackers, how about the linebacker from Lake Zurich? That's Jack Sanborn.
Special young football player, no question about it. He's on his way to Wisconsin. We'll talk during the broadcast. Wisconsin kind of becoming linebacker U these days, and he's a special one. You look on the other side, though, you got Luke Wirtz, a junior, a little bit bigger, almost as productive. He could be heading to a Big Ten school next year.
So Luke Wirtz, he's got 1 year to prove. Lake Zurich, Jack Sanborn, this is it for him. But for these two teams, each school has 1 state championship trophy in their trophy case. They're looking for number 2, and they'd like it to be that one right there. Our 7A title game coming up next. IHSA Football State Finals are brought to you by Country Financial. Take simple steps today at countryfinancial.com/simple steps. And by Biaggi's, where carry-out and curbside pickup make it easy to enjoy the great taste of Biaggi's at home. Visit Biaggi's online at biaggi's.com.
We are back on NBC Sports Chicago, and we are setting the table for our 7A title game, Lake Zurich and Batavia. And before we get started, Edgy, we want to hear your keys to the game. Let's start with Lake Zurich first.
Well, if you're Lake Zurich, I tell you what, you want to get to the edges, meaning you have a speed advantage over Batavia. You have to use it, and then find open spaces. If Batavia clogs up the running lanes, find open spaces in the middle of the field with a great play-action passing game led by Evan Lewandowski.
Now, as for Batavia, their quarterback, Riley Cooper, his coach said he doesn't look the part, but he has yet to throw an interception in the playoffs.
Absolutely, and Batavia, wake up, no more slow starts. You don't have a second try in the state final here. Got to get off to a good start. You're the bigger team, be the bully, push the Bears around.
All right, we are just a few minutes away from kickoff. We'll be back right after the break with the call from Dave and Hub.
They have come out in force here tonight at Husky Stadium in DeKalb. It's your 7A title ball game. It matches the unbeaten Lake Zurich Bears at 13-0 against the 1-loss, 12-1 Batavia Bulldogs for Lake Zurich. Here was their trip to DeKalb. That semifinal game, the closest one, 14-7 win over Mount Carmel. It took an interception at the 5-yard line to preserve that victory. Big win over St. Rita the week earlier. For Batavia, their key ball game came in week number 2. That's when they defeated Wheaton North 20-17 in overtime. That was a ball game the Bulldogs trailed with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Now, you heard Edgy talk about slow starts. Batavia in each of those last 3 games fell behind before coming back to win and get themselves here to DeKalb for the second time in the last 5 years. In fact, it was back in 2013, 4 years ago, that Batavia won the 6A title. Lake Zurich, their lone state championship, came in 2007. Lake Zurich won the toss. They deferred to the second half. They have brought their whiteout here tonight in their student section. And I'll tell you what, for about a half an hour here, Hub, these two fan sections have been going at it back and forth. Huge crowd here tonight.
They really have, Dave. And I don't want to make this about Dave and Hub, but I hope somebody's watching, because I think the entire city of Batavia is here. Husky Stadium is packed, and we're ready for an exciting 7A game.
So Batavia will get this opening kickoff. Jeremiah Evers and Art Taylor deep. This ball will sail just short of the goal line. To the 25-yard line, 26. On the return, it was Art Taylor. The Batavia offense averages 28 points per ball game. They really mix it up, running and passing the ball. Riley Cooper has thrown for over 2,000 yards, and Cooper's the type of player that he doesn't make mistakes, as Edgy said. He also has 3 touchdown passes in each of the 4 playoff games leading up to this one. Batavia will rotate backs. Their wide receivers have been very effective, especially here in the playoffs. And on the ground for play number 1. And a pick up to about the 30-yard line. Here is that total offense for Batavia. We mentioned Riley Cooper. The running backs we'll see Colin Richter, Jeremiah Evers, Elijah Green, among others. Then you've got a couple of receivers that can really go get it. Jared Martin and Eric Peterson. In fact, Peterson 7 touchdown receptions for touchdowns in the playoffs. Keep an eye on Nolan Ike, 6'6", 260-pounder, number 63. He's headed to Central Michigan. An empty backfield for Cooper. He'll get it just short of the 34-yard line. Is receiver Colin Richter. Defensive lead for Lake Zurich, a team that only gives up 9 points per ball game. That secondary is dangerous. Austin LePage with 10 interceptions, but it's the linebacking core that makes it happen. Led by Joey Stutzman along with Jack Sanborn. And up front, a couple of juniors, Bennett Amoroso and Jackson Parsalis. Third and a couple. Room off the left side, but that big smack you heard came from number 7, Jack Sanborn.
That was almost unfair, Dave. We see little Art Taylor and big Jack Sanborn, and that was like running into a wall. There's a reason that this kid is heading for Wisconsin, and Taylor needs to be effective for Batavia today. Batavia's got a little bit of thunder and lightning there. They got that 130, 140-pound backfield, and then they got the 290-pounders. But they're going to have to, it looks like, go a little bit bigger on Lake Zurich, because Sanborn was in that hole before Taylor got to the line of scrimmage.
6'2", 220-pound senior. The leading tackler for Lake Zurich this year, and just 2 minutes into the ball game. We'll take a timeout. Batavia on their opening drive of this ball game. It's your 7-8 championship on NBC Sports Chicago. Back at Husky Stadium, along with Hub Arkish, I'm Dave Bernhardt. Your 7-8 title ball game. The Batavia Bulldogs, the home team here today on the west side of the field. And this is what their bio looks like out of Kane County. It's a short trip here to DeKalb. Upstate 8 Conference this year. Next year, Batavia moves to the newly formed Duquesne Conference. Population or an enrollment of almost 2,000 at Batavia High School. And look at this. 4th down. They're looking to go for it. And they'll get it. Slicing from left to right was Quinn Erweiler. Erweiler, sophomore starting linebacker, gets the first down carry. And we were conjecturing during the break, Hub, as to whether this would be the move they would make. I
got to tell you, Dave, it's always right when it works, but they could do that 10 more times, and I'd say you got to punt 10 more times. I mean, you're 2 minutes into the game, deep in your own end. If you miss, you're giving too big an opportunity to Lake Zurich, but hey, hats off to them. They converted it.
So a fresh set of downs from about the 38-yard line. Riley Cooper, 5'11", 175. He'll come up throwing, and he'll connect. Jared Martin with the reception. Now they're going to say he did not hang on. Jared Martin, 5'10", 160-pound senior. He takes a hit, and this is a Lake Zurich team that will hit you. You know they are out there.
Yeah, he had it tucked away, but he got that smack and was not able to hang on. As a matter of fact, he took a shoulder pad right on the ball, and that apparently is what knocked it loose.
And just that little bobble before he could pull it in there, he took that big hit for number 2, Robert Hinsberger. Hinsberger, 5'10", 180-pounder. Cooper has a lot of room to decide if he wants it. Instead, the wily senior will get it out complete to Tommy Stuttle.
You know, Dave, that's something you hear talked about a lot in NFL games, big-time college games. He was scrambling. He had room to run. I stayed downfield the whole time. It's a lot easier to pick up 13 on the pass than it is to run for it. That's a great job by Cooper of remembering he's the quarterback and not a running back.
Tommy Stuttle, you'll hear his name a lot today. He goes both ways. Couple of first downs on this drive, the opening drive of this game, and we'll get a flag.
Dead ball, encroachment, number 666 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Our referee today, Addison Owen, linesman Chris Hartbank. Michael Nichols is our umpire, your line judge Dave Purvis, and Matthew Brown, the back judge, our officiating crew in the 7-8 championship game. A penalty called on Jackson Farsalis. From the near side with room. And another first down. A very efficient offense. Tommy Stuttle again. Stuttle an all-stater by virtue of his secondary play as well as his wide receiver play.
A little surprised to see Batavia coming out winging the ball all over the field here. They don't usually throw the ball quite this much. Obviously, Coach Perron, you know, he has not stopped smiling since they came out for the pregame warm-ups. He's just having a great time being back at the state title game. Sounds like he's just saying, hey, let's open this up and have some fun, and they're throwing the ball all over the field. Dennis
Perron in his 7th season, 72 wins, 11 defeats, and a state championship. Riley Cooper 3 of 4 before they go to the ground here on first down. Bulldogs' only loss this season came in the final game of the regular season, a 35-28 loss to St. Charles North. There's Dennis Perron, and he was excited earlier this week. He's been excited tonight, and he likes this first drive.
He was jacked up on our phone call earlier this week. I don't think he's calmed down since Monday.
4 runs, 4 passes on this drive. Here's the 9th play. And that will be a completion, and this one will go to Eric Peterson. So Cooper has gone to Peterson now, a couple of times to Stuttle, threw a pass to Martin, and Batavia quickly now in the red zone.
And Coach Perron, he specifically pointed out Peterson to us when we were talking earlier this week. Last year, pretty good basketball player, learning how to be a football player. Came here to DeKalb for a 7-on-7 passing camp and came back an accomplished receiver, their leading receiver this year.
20 yards per catch for Peterson. This time it's Colin Richter. So that's 4 different targets we've had on this opening drive from Cooper.
This is obviously something that Batavia has seen on the tape. They know you've got Sanborn on the other side, that big 3-man front. They're saying we can't run into it with our 130, 140-pound backs, so they're doing their damage through the air. They have marched right down the field and really efficient in the passing game so far.
Staying in the air to the end zone, and luckily for Batavia fans, that was not intercepted. Once again, the intended receiver, Eric Peterson, all 6'3" of him on the coverage. See Ryan Verenios.
Yeah, this is a bad decision by Cooper because while Peterson does have about a 5-inch advantage, Verenios has got position on him, and he's lucky that that ball was not picked off. Actually, now that I look at it again, Peterson did get a shoulder on him. He bodied him up a little bit, but he was just covered too tight to be able to haul that in.
3rd and 3, the 12th play of this drive, coming from inside the 10-yard line. On the ground. That will be close. It will depend on the spot of the ball. Once again, the carry goes to Quinn Erweiler. He had that 4th down run at the beginning of this drive.
That's a tough spot. They brought that back a good 2 feet, almost a yard from where the ball was. Now, I didn't see where his knee touched. I'm not saying it's a bad spot, but it certainly is a difficult spot, and he does not have it. He's about 6 inches short on that spot right now.
So this will be the second fourth down chance in this opening drive for the Bulldogs. And the Batavia fans on the west side come to their feet. Erweiler grabbed by Sanborn, and he'll drop him for a loss and give the ball to Lake Zurich. Jack Sanborn was targeting Erweiler all the way. Quinn Erweiler never had a chance.
You know, Dave, this is one of the tough things about the high school game. I know maybe Coach Piron was going for it all along, one of the 7, but you don't have great kicking games at this level. You've got a field goal kicker in Jack Carlson, just 6 attempts all year long. It is a shame not to come away with some points on that drive. Now it's a zip-zip. It's almost like it didn't happen.
Taking nearly 5.5 minutes off the clock. Evan Lewandowski will get it out quickly. He'll get it to his favorite player, not just receiver or runner. That's Joey Stutzman.
We've got a flag coming out late, and that's in the area where usually they might have picked somebody up holding in there. Oh no, illegal receiver downfield.
Well, that was one quick lineman downfield because Lewandowski got rid of that pretty quickly. Line of scrimmage, the 9-yard line, half the distance, would take it back inside the 5. Long conversation as to whether they want to stick with the play. Max McFadden discussing it with our referee.
Ineligible downfield, number 70 on the offense. That penalty is declined.
Wow.
Second down.
That is confidence in your defense, I'll tell you that.
Well, let's see. It looks like may have been Yanni Manasaritis, number 50 there. He got out there very quickly, maybe a little jumpy with the nerves.
Could have been. I'm not necessarily going to give number 70 a pass either. Spencer Bacon got that 290 pounds moving. And, they had a couple guys that got down there. Not sure which one got the flag.
Okay, so they have changed it. They are going to take this penalty, and then we'll put the ball at the 4-yard line. Out of the end zone comes Stutzman. Joey Stutzman, all 5 feet 170 pounds, 5 feet 7 inches tall, 170. Stutzman with almost 1,100 yards rushing this year. He goes both ways. He is the heart and soul of this Lake Zurich team. Evan Lewandowski, the quarterback. You see the All-State numbers, 3,500 yards total offense for Lewandowski. Got a little breathing room. Right on target. The man in motion was Peyton Powell. He's the one that gets the reception, and he picks up the first down for Lake Zurich.
He's been a favorite target of Lewandowski with 39 catches, over 800 yards on the season. He averages 20 yards a pop, has an 80-yarder to his credit, 10 touchdowns, so you can understand why they'd want to get him out in space like they did on that one.
26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for Evan Lewandowski, Illinois High School Football Coaches Association All-Stater. See, good size, 6'4", 215. Stutzman has some room, shakes through one tackler. Such very quick feet for Joey Stutzman.
It was interesting, Dave, visiting with Coach Luke Mertens. He talked about his offense being multiple personnel packages, a lot of different looks. They go from swinging a back out in the flat to a delay up the middle. He looks for almost perfect run-pass balance. He says we can't let a team make us one-dimensional. If they take away one facet of our game, we're going to be just as good throwing or running.
Well, and he's done both here to take this ball from the 4-yard line, now out across the 30. Staying with Stutzman, no room for Stutzman. Number 5 is the person we were talking about in the pregame. That's Luke Wirtz. Here's the offensive unit for the Lake Zurich Bears. We said Joey Stutzman, a two-way player. Big offensive line, 240 pounds between Pemstein and Manasaritis on the left side. On the right side, Spencer Bacon goes 290, Ian Fitzgerald 300. In the center, Andrew Miller. He's a little pup out of the bunch, 5'11", 185. Third and short. just a bit overthrown. He was looking for Trenton Berkeley. What a great job by Lewandowski. He looked right and then had the presence of mind to find Berkeley, just missed.
Now, we talked about Riley Cooper on the scramble, keeping his eyes downfield. Lewandowski showed you that pro set stance, went to his first, his second. That was his third read on the play, and he had him, and he just missed him by really the fingertips.
Boy, he had John Golden beaten by a couple of steps. Lewandowski doubles as the punter. Averages about 37 yards per kick. Gets a pretty good foot into this one. Fair catch called. Tommy Studle will drop that ball in the turf, and we'll step aside when we come back. Second possession of the game for the Bulldogs. They love their football in Batavia, and they're enjoying it here in DeKalb. Huge outpouring of support for Batavia. Lake Zurich coming to you from Lake County and the North Suburban Conference. Oklahoma, almost the same as Batavia, about 1900. Athletic Director Andrew Lambert. And their trip is not too far either, and they've brought a large contingent of fans, including a large student section as well. So Riley Cooper will take over. He had 5 completions in the first drive to 3 different receivers. Let's see how the Bulldogs approach their second possession. Starting on the ground. Good block to the outside. Jeremiah Evers shows his speed. There's your 130-pounder, Hub, and he comes from the right side to the left.
Jeremiah Evers at 5'7", 130. We mentioned Reggie Phillips at 5'9", 145. That speed is why they're out there, and you see them now finding ways to get away from Mr. Sanborn. He's going to be inside. We're going to go outside. And Sanborn, really nice job of reading in or out. But that time they were able to get the edge. And when they do, you see the speed advantage Batavia is going to have.
Again, good balance from the running backs. 15-yard carry that time for Evers. Sanborn in on that stop. Not much of a gain. He also got a little bit of help there from Bennett Amoroso. There's Jack Sanborn. Also, obviously, an all-state selection this year.
You know, I had a note I was looking at before the game. Kid going to Wisconsin. Right now, Vince Beagle, Jonathan Casillas, Joe Schobert, TJ Watt's going to be an all-rookie. The Wisconsin linebackers have become linebacker U. It's a big deal to get there from high school.
Saw Art Taylor limping off. He's on the bench. And wide open was Jared Martin. I don't know if there was anybody within 10 yards of Martin.
Yeah, this young man with 38 catches for 363 yards on the season, obviously been a real dependable choice for Riley Cooper, but that one he was running before he had the ball. You could see his eyes come off it even on the replay, and that's the cardinal sin at wide receiver. You have to possess it before you can run with it.
So 3rd down and 8 for the Bulldogs. Great protection for Cooper. He's looking for something big, and he has it. No, he did not hang on. That's twice a receiver for Batavia has had the ball. It has been knocked out of their hands. And that time for Batavia, Zach Weber had an opportunity to pull it in.
You know, that's really a shame, and Cooper got the ball there, but he gets it there awfully late. He's looking left, he'll go back right. Now he finally finds him and heaves the ball as far as he can. Unfortunately, Weber is already stopped and is waiting. He's got to catch that football, but as he gets it, he takes a shot, and you got the defender getting a hand in there to try and rip it out on him, and you know, that probably helped him to lose the football as well.
Matthijs enters with the coverage and the hit. The fair catch is called and taken by Austin LePage. So the Bears from Lake Zurich will get their second chance here with 3:07 to play in a scoreless first quarter.
Dave, I think we had a feeling about this one. We were talking early on. These defenses are really outstanding on both sides, and there's plenty of great kids on offense. But when you look at the matchups, you can almost just feel a defensive edge. And I think this one, you can't afford mistakes. You can't afford drop footballs, silly penalties. One of those could be the difference in this game.
The handoff and a fumble, and Batavia will have it. It was Jack Moses that got the handoff. I don't know if he completely tucked it in. At the bottom of the pile with the fumble recovery is Michael Bouch.
Well, Dave, no sooner do we say it than it happens. You put the ball on the ground on your own 21-yard line. Apparently, he ran into the back of his offensive lineman, and that's what knocked the ball out. I don't want to call it a butt fumble, but that's actually what it was. So I'm sorry. Mark Sanchez is probably mad at me now. Well, actually, he's probably thrilled. I took the line away from him. That's just too bad. He ran into a big kid, and it knocked the ball out, and now you got a big break for Batavia.
At the 21-yard line for the Bulldogs. Michael Bouch, 6'1" senior. Cooper will go up under center. Looking right all the way. And now with the feet. He'll get 5 yards on first down.
It's really striking, Dave. I got to believe you could watch Batavia game film over the last 4 or 5 years and not find a game where they've thrown the football 70% of the time. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but it sure feels like that. This is going to be an air attack for them until Lake Zurich proves they can stop it.
Okay, well, Riley Cooper came in with 210 passing attempts in 13 games. So this does far exceed their normal rate. 5 of 9 for Cooper tonight. Will start and stop by Evers. And it will take 4 Bears to bring down the 130-pounder.
You can watch all year. You may not see that again. That was Sanborn who missed the tackle behind the line. He saw him. He read it. He went for an ankle grab, and Evers was able to run through him. Turned nothing into about a 3 or 4 yard game.
Lake Zurich's closest ball game this year, a 41-35 double overtime win over Warren. Heck, those 35 points, by far the most Lake Zurich had given up. They had 9 games Lake Zurich had without allowing more than a touchdown. To the end zone, touchdown! They go to Eric Peterson for the opening score of this game. 12-yard pass from Cooper to Peterson.
And the key there, Dave, is it's one thing to take the football away. It's another thing to add points, and that's what you have to do. We were talking about every opportunity you get. You can see Cooper as we go to the replay. I mean, right now, he's looking at the spot he's going to throw that football. He's identified it. He gets it out quick. Peterson's there before the defenders can close on him. Again, Peterson's become their top possession receiver, their red zone guy, their top touchdown receiver, and he puts them on top 6-zip.
He will be the holder for Jack Carlson for this extra point attempt. Carlson knocks it through, so the turnover turns into 7 points.
We will take a look back, Dave, at the fumble here, and it's just unfortunate. You've got a young man going into the line, and he gets the ball knocked out. I think it might have even been the elbow of his offensive lineman was sticking out, but he knocks the ball out, and then immediately Batavia comes back, find Peterson in the end zone, and suddenly what was looking like it could be dual shutouts, you got Batavia up 7-zip.
Turnover, the difference. Riley Cooper playing like a senior here today. In fact, the entire offense for Batavia playing with an extra level of confidence here in the opening quarter. Riley Cooper has completed 6 passes. 2 have gone to Peterson, 2 have gone to Stuttle, 2 have gone to Richter. And that's what makes Batavia tough to defend.
You know, I certainly wouldn't say that Lake Zurich has done anything wrong. The unfortunate fumble, it's actually Batavia's had a few passes dropped, but from the time they came out, we were talking about it, you saw Coach Perron so loose and smiling and having fun, and the Batavia kids, it's almost like they came to a party. And, you know, Lake Zurich, I'm not saying they're tight, but you can just tell that Batavia was ready from the opening kick.
Peterson's touchdown catch is 14th of the season. This one blooped up into the air. Now Austin LePage will reverse his field if he can get to the corner. Which corner is he going to choose?
He's going to keep going.
And a flag came out with all that back and forth that made for some tough blocking assignments, and this one's going to be backed up a bit.
There's a legendary University of Michigan broadcaster, Bob Ufer, once said of a Michigan turned NFL running back, Gordon Bell, that little guy could run 15 yards in a phone booth. And I'll tell you, LePage, he must have run 40, 50 yards. And he moved between the hash marks. He never went up north or south.
Number 19 on the receiving team. 10 yards from the end of the return. First down.
It's the third penalty already on the Bears from Lake Zurich. And with 1:18 to play here in the first quarter, it just does not feel like Lake Zurich has any type of positive rhythm here tonight. Start this drive from their 16. No room. First hit goes to Michael Bouch. He had the fumble recovery just moments ago.
Dave, one thing I would say about this Lake Zurich team, and this is going to be a backstory we'll go throughout the game. I'm sure a lot of our audience is aware of some of the adversity they've had to overcome in the last 6-12 months. They're starting slow. They're not done. They're going to be here all night. You look at what these kids have gone through in the last year just to get here, an undefeated season. They're struggling a little bit now, but they're one play away from starting to show us what they can do as well.
Luke Mertens, the head coach in his first year at Lake Zurich, looking on. Moses will get another carry. He'll make something positive out of this one. So they go right back to Jack Moses. 2 plays after his fumble. He gets positive yardage and sets his team up for a workable third down.
For those who might not be aware of the story, Luke Mertens took over this program in April. They had a coaching change. There was a hazing incident last year. Some people had to leave. He has 6 coaches that returned from the prior coaching staff, all on defense, because that is what they did well. He didn't want to change that. He's got a 12-person coaching staff. He's never coached with any of them, and they've got an undefeated season in the state title game.
I find that absolutely remarkable, that you can put something together that quickly. Well, for Lake Zurich, they're going to want to put something together when we start the second quarter, because Batavia has taken advantage of a turnover. They capitalized 12-yard touchdown pass from Riley Cooper to Eric Peterson. And following that recovery by Bouch, the Bulldogs capitalized for a 7-0 lead. Little extra support for Batavia looking on. State champions in 2013 Class 6A. That Bulldog is all painted up. On the other side, conference championships, playoff appearances.
A cool looking dog.
That is a good work of art right there.
One of those for the front porch at home.
You're going to go with all the yellow state of Illinois?
I don't know about the color combination.
We start the second quarter. Stutzman will get the call up the middle. You know, Joey Stutzman, I mean, what a spark plug, the heartbeat of this team. The way he plays, it's pure love of the game, love of his high school. He just generates the emotions. In fact, his offensive line never takes a play off because Stutzman never takes a play off.
Well, and his head coach told us that when he arrived, he was the last kid that he met, and he's called him the most impressive high school football player he's ever coached. Just really in love with everything the kid does, and we'll talk about what he's overcome in just a moment.
He'll come to the slot. Lewandowski hard, maybe a bit too hard, a bit too low. Moses could not come up with it.
So, you know, Dave, saying that he's overcome anything is probably not the way I wanted to put that. But the thing about Joey Stutzman, he's 5'7", 170 pounds. This is a young man who may have more of a collegiate future in wrestling than he does in football. He's going to find a heart. He's not going to play linebacker, obviously, at the college level. Maybe he could grow himself into a running back. But he is all heart, he is all effort, he's all character. And again, Luke Mertens calls him the heart and soul of this football team, along with Jack Sanborn.
He's carried the ball 5 times for 18 yards. Here's carry number 6. We'll get to the 30-yard line. Well, Stutzman's all about Lake Zurich. You know, rather than idolize the Chicago Bears when he grew up, Stutzman idolized the Lake Zurich Bears. In fact, he was at the Lake Zurich Championship games in 2006, 2007 when he was 6 and 7 years old. He knew all the players' names. And we're talking about offensive linemen. In fact, he had a video game Stutzman did called Football Heroes, and that was one of those games where you can, you know, make your own team. So what did he do? Did he make the Bears or the Packers or the Lions? Nope. His team was made up of Lake Zurich players. third down and long now for the Bears. Flag out of the pocket of the back judge. And it was Peyton Powell that was caught up in a couple of red jerseys. There's also a flag thrown near the line of scrimmage.
We'll see who these go on, but again, Lake Zurich going backwards, and unfortunately, that was a big part of the story of the first half as well. We've got, I'm sorry, first quarter. We've got some stats for you in a moment. Let's get the call first.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 56. Holding, number 19. Penalties offset. We'll replay third down.
Dave, that is the first penalty on Batavia in the first quarter. You could say all Batavia, 7-0 lead. They had 6 first downs, just 1 for Lake Zurich. Zurich had the only 3 penalties. Time of possession was 7:55 to Batavia, 4:05 to Lake Zurich.
And once again, the Batavia fans on their side of the field come to their feet. Powell comes through. Handoff Stutzman. Well short of the first down.
That's a pretty conservative call there. We know we've talked to Coach Mertens. He trusts his defense. There's no question about that. Not worried, even though they're down a touchdown, about this thing getting away. Rather than risk another mistake, goes for it on the ground. Now he's content to kick it away and see if his defense can keep him in the game.
Once again, it'll be Lewandowski. His first punt went for 44 yards. This is a high spiraling kick. And Studle will take it right there at about the 30-yard line. Nice clear night here in DeKalb. The wind not much of a factor. Blowing a little bit across the field at about 9 miles per hour. Right now 42 degrees. That temperature will be falling as we go along.
Yeah, not quite that 60-degree stuff for yesterday, but still for the Saturday after Thanksgiving for state title games, this is a balmy day. It's really nice here at Husky Stadium.
Yeah, that last weekend weather was wicked. That teams had to play in the semifinals with snow, rain, wind, and biting temperatures. The ball with a 7-0 lead for Batavia. A lot of time for Cooper, and that becomes a third drop of the night for the Bulldogs. Tommy Studle just couldn't get it. It wasn't the pass that he was hoping to see down there by his knees. And it will be second down.
Tommy Studle, an interesting kid. Coach Piron was telling us that he has never seen this young man when he wasn't laughing, smiling, joking around, having a great time. He's probably the best athlete on this football team as well. You see him in the secondary, you see him at receiver, you'll see him kicking the football. He's a do-it-all and a real leader on this football team.
He had 3 interceptions in the quarterfinal win over Lincoln Way West, all 3 of those coming in the fourth quarter. Motion from Evers, but Cooper will keep it. Oh my goodness. Hello, Riley Cooper, says Joey Stutzman and Jack Sanborn. Woo.
You know, it's funny because I was just thinking a couple plays ago, I've never seen so much ink on high school kids' arms in their life, and I'm thinking tattoo. And the only way I can describe what Sanborn just did to him was that was a tattoo, man. He just labeled him.
Boy, the acceleration and power. Batavia, 1 of 4 on third downs prior to this snap. Cooper going to go deep. Has his man. It's Peterson. Inside the 30-yard line. Longest play of the game for the Bulldogs.
I got to tell you, Dave, watch this little sidearm flip, and he just drops it on the money. Look at that. It just comes out almost sidearm, between three-quarter and sidearm, drops it between 2 receivers in a bracket coverage. He saw him, he flicked the wrist, and put that ball right on the money. You can't throw one much better than that.
42 yards on the completion on third down. To the near side. Evers brought down from behind. His first half has belonged to the Bulldogs, though they only lead 7-0. They have controlled things defensively, have taken advantage of a turnover for the only score of this game. Open is Peterson, tiptoes out of bounds.
You know, I do think it's fair to say that we are at a potential real turning point in this football game, Dave. We talked in our preparation and in our opening to the broadcast about the fact that neither of these offenses likely to be all that explosive. They want to win with their defenses. I don't think Lake Zurich wants to get down 2 scores and have to be chasing Batavia all day long. They need to get a stop here.
It is a first down for the Bulldogs. Nice spin by Reggie Phillips. Took a hit before he went down. First carry of the ball game for Phillips. Comes in with 491 yards rushing.
Yeah, I mean, it's another great pop. There's no question about that. But somehow they're not quite as impressive when they're after 6-7 yard gains. I mean, you know, you want to play the game that way, but the offense can still come away feeling good about that one. They put themselves in second and very manageable.
Robert Hinsberger, number 2, got that tackle. Cooper to the end zone. There's Peterson again. 2 touchdown passes from Riley Cooper. They have both gone to Eric Peterson, and it's a 13-0 Batavia lead.
You know, they are finding seams in the secondary, and I've seen a little bit of man, a lot more zone press type stuff. And here, you've just got the corners off way too soft there. You can't, when you're down in the red zone, afford to lay off like that. And that was an open seam, and you just got Cooper dropping the ball right wherever he wants to right now.
Eric Peterson came into this game with 7 touchdown catches in the 4 previous playoff games. Riley Cooper connects twice with Peterson for a 14-zip lead. (14-0) Batavia over Lake Zurich in the 7A championship ball game, and Bulldogs their first touchdown drive. Took just a couple of plays after a turnover. This time they went 69 yards in 7 plays. Took 2:32 off the clock, and out of those 69 yards, that adds to their total right now. Batavia outgaining Lake Zurich 167 yards to 41. And we've played just 16 minutes here in the championship game.
And really, Dave, stunningly to me, most of it through the air. I guess the reason everybody in Batavia came out tonight is somebody told them there was going to be an air show in DeKalb, because I mean, this is NFL stuff, the way they're throwing the ball all over the field.
Good credit to Riley Cooper for throwing it. He had the game-winning touchdown pass in overtime against Wheaton North, and he had previously had the game-tying touchdown pass on 4th and 13 with 2:30 left in that ball game, and that was the key victory that got the Bulldogs on the road here to DeKalb. Now, this is an important possession right here for Lake Zurich. Exactly 8 minutes to play in the first half. They have been back on their heels here for this entire half.
You know, if nothing else, Dave, I don't know that it's critical that they get points right now, but they've got to keep their defense on the sidelines for a few minutes. Give those kids a chance to catch their breath. Let the coaches coach them up. They're seeing a lot of stuff in that passing game that they obviously weren't prepared for. Shouldn't say weren't prepared, that they weren't expecting to come so quickly. And now it's time to give them a chance to catch up.
Stutzman will cut it inside, but how about that tackle? Getting a hand on the foot was John Golden. Goldman comes up from his cornerback position. Now here's a guy, John Golden, number 9, right there. He didn't play much last year. You know, let me correct that a little bit. He actually won the job for game number 1 last year and then lost it in week 2 and then didn't play much from there. So the coach is so proud of what Golden has done to stick it out through last year. Work, improve, major factor here in the defense this season. Boy, this is a hard-hitting game. Batavia swarming to the ball. I've seen him on offense, number 34, Quinn Erweiler. in on the stop on that last one on Stutzman.
You know, and really, again, the opposite of what we might have expected. They want perfect balance in their run-pass game in Lake Zurich, but Lewandowski came in with almost 50% more pass attempts on the season than Cooper, and Coach Mertens, even down 2 touchdowns, is content to try and keep it on the ground with Stutzman right now.
Lewandowski has thrown 3 times, completed 1. Play action. He's not going to escape. Number 5, Luke Wirtz. Number 3, Michael Jancy. Number 98, Max McFadden, all right there on Evan Lewandowski.
And they were going for the home run, Dave. He had 3 receivers all running fly routes down the field, right, left, and up the middle. They were covered by 4 defensive backs. There were no seams in this zone from Batavia, unlike what you're seeing from Lake Zurich on the other side. They were in man coverage, and everybody was covered up.
Once again, Lewandowski to kick. This is not one of his better attempts. He needs a good hop. Instead, sideways, and the Bulldogs will have a good field position here with 6:03 to play in the second quarter.
This is really a bit of a surprise. It's all Batavia so far. Again, there's no way I would write Lake Zurich off based on the season that they've had, the year that they've had. But they need to play, whether it's on offense or defense. Remember, that first touchdown came on a takeaway. It's time for, whether it's Mr. Sanborn or somebody else, to step up and see if they can't, you know, get some momentum from the defense, because the offense is really struggling right now.
Cooper stays in the air. He's looking for Martin. Just a bit overthrown. I gave you those total yardage numbers a little earlier. 167 yards for Batavia. Lake Zurich on the season has averaged allowing 188 yards per game for a full 4 quarters.
And, you know, we told you Dennis Piron, Coach Piron from Batavia, is having fun tonight. He comes out, up 2 scores. He goes empty back. He's throwing the ball again. He's going down the field. He's trying to put his foot on their throat right now.
72 wins in 7 years for Coach Piron. Open again. This time it's Stuttle. Tommy Stuttle, the first down catch across midfield and inside the 45-yard line of Lake Zurich.
Lake Zurich secondary is just playing tentative right now, Dave. On that play, they did have good coverage. The DB was right there, but they're playing behind the receivers. They're keeping everything in front of them. They're in a state title game, trying to make sure that they don't make a mistake. They're going to have to start to play a little more aggressively before this thing gets away from them.
Cooper with his 10th completion. He's totaled up 134 yards. And another first down. Evers trying to find that hole, and who's there? Boy, Jack Sanborn, he's not even in your picture until he comes as a blur. Another tackle for the University of Wisconsin-bound linebacker.
And the thing that is so impressive about Sanborn, besides he's got great size for a high school linebacker at 6'2", 220. Look at the closing speed. Once he identifies the play, look how he gets there and closes. He makes his break before that little scat back at 140 pounds can make his break.
Already, that is Sanborn's 6th tackle. And that one's picked off. The interception by Jack Fabrini. And Cooper misread the route. So the turnover by Lake Zurich, the first their defense has forced, stops Batavia. And now it will be the Bears looking to get themselves on the scoreboard.
Dave, we're going to take a look here because Riley Cooper had been flawless, but this is on him. He sees his receiver. He just throws it behind him, and Jack Fabrini able to come up with the football. That break that we said Lake Zurich so desperately needed. Great play by Fabrini to have concentration, hang on to the ball, but that's the first mistake by Riley Cooper. Now we'll see if it's costly, if Lake Zurich can take advantage of it.
They will start from their 35-yard line. 4:57 to play with here in the first half. Each school with one state football championship. Lewandowski to keep it, and he has a lot of room to run. at about 9 yards. Quinn Erweiler there to trip him up. The coverage here has been excellent tonight for Batavia.
You know, Dave, it's interesting. You look at Lewandowski, and you're talking about more of a prototypical pro-set NFL-style quarterback. He's obviously more a thrower than a runner, only averaging 1.8 on the season. And you can see with that big 6'4", 215 frame, he had plenty of open space there, but a little awkward trying to get out there. He's going to have to get the ball to Stutzman and try and do his damage through the air.
Here is Stutzman. Depending on the spot, he may or may not have this first down.
They're going to give it to him, but not by much.
Just the third first down tonight for the Bears.
You know, really, I think you'd have to argue that where Batavia is winning this game is up front with Michael Bouch and Maxwell McFadden at 225, 230, only 210 with Ethan Towers up front. But that offensive line is getting no movement, and Stutzman's just not big enough to run through anybody.
Lewandowski, fumble, incompletion. That pocket collapsed right on top of Lewandowski. He did not feel it coming from his backside. Luke Mertens checking that play chart.
You could see the frustration on Mertens' face. It's almost like he's thinking, I can look at the plays all day long. If we can't block him, we're not going to get much done. You've got to give your quarterback at least 3 seconds back there. I'd say he only had 2.5 before big number 33, Andrew Hines, closed on him. A 6'3", 195-pound senior knocked that ball loose.
This time it's McFadden with the wrap-up tackle for a loss on Stutzman. Max McFadden, 225-pounder. Now one of those defensive linemen. We had talked about the linebackers, Michael Jancy, Luke Wirtz. Also saw a shot a little while ago, a strong safety, Michael Nemec.
You know, Dave, really with 236 carries on the year, 1,094 yards, you know Stutzman's going to get the ball 20 times this game, but I don't think that's the way you're going to defeat this Batavia defense.
That will go for a first down and more. On the receiving end of that pass for Lake Zurich. Give credit to Michael Gallis. He found an opening.
And that was a really nice job by Lewandowski. You'll see some late pressure coming. He'll take half a step up in the pocket. He'll let that pressure go by him, and then he finds his receiver and puts it on the money. A little bit behind him, but nice job holding on to that football from Michael Gallis.
That 20-yard completion, the longest play of the night for the Bears. It comes with just under 3 minutes to play in the first half, down by 14. Lewandowski waits, just off the fingertips. And he'll quickly go over to Luke Mertens.
It's a nice job by Coach Mertens of acknowledging what he's got here, saying, all right, we're going to have to put the ball up to get this done. I don't want to be too hard on Lewandowski. It's early. Obviously, standing in the pocket, he can make some big throws from you. But when he gets on the move, he doesn't look impressive running the football. There he tried to throw it on the move. He just wasn't accurate. You want to get him standing in the pocket, picking out receivers down the field, and you got to give him time if you're going to do that.
That was a helpless feeling for intended receiver Dylan Ippolito. Stutzman's able to bounce off of one. In fact, he took the initial hit that time from Luke Wirtz. Able to get some positive yardage and a workable third down.
That's a big play from Stutzman. He turned nothing into a 6-yard gain, and now you're in third and manageable instead of what would have been another 3rd and 10. Got a couple options. I don't think you want to be handing it off to him again, but now you give a chance to get a quick slant, quick hit out of there to Lewandowski. Don't force him to improvise on the run. See if he can't pick this one up through the air, although he's going with a full house backfield, so we'll see what he's going to do.
Stutzman's average 3 yards a carry on 12 carries. He'll get it this time. Will one more spin get it for him? Spin and string first down, Lake Zurich, thanks to Joey Stutzman.
And Dave, that is why Luke Mertens speaks so glowingly of Joey Stutzman. That's a 5'7", 170-pound back getting you that first down. This is all effort. He has stopped once. He has stopped twice. He's going to go the third time and just barely get by that first down marker, I should say, and get you that key conversion. This is exactly what Lake Zurich needed. Now they do have to get points.
43 yards now for Stutzman on 13 carries and a fresh set of downs. Lewandowski rifles that pass, and he gets it to his tight end, Matthijs Centers. Now you feel a little bit more rhythm here, a little bit quicker pace here for Lake Zurich. Net clock winding down, though, in the first half.
Well, and the beauty of what Mertens is doing with his play calling here, again, he talked about in the end, he wants to be balanced, 50-50 run pass. But now throwing on first down, these quick hits, he's opening up some space. He's giving Stutzman a better chance. He's helping his offensive line create some holes.
First time in the red zone for the Bears. Quickly. Another completion. This to Powell. Peyton Powell. Transfer from Zion Benton this year. He had a couple of touchdown catches in the 49-17 win over St. Rita in the quarterfinals.
Forgive my groan there, Dave, but that's one of the cardinal sins from a young wide receiver. He had the first down. He's got to take it. He ran to the marker. He needed another half a step. Go forward, get your first down. Instead, he tried to create something that wasn't there. Took a step backwards. I think, are they going to bring out the sticks here? It looks like he's right on it, but maybe a couple inches short.
You know, and it seems trite, but even this little time here for the measurement takes away this momentum, if you will, that Lake Zurich seemed to have generated in the last 5 or 6 plays.
No, I think it's a great point, Dave. I mean, you know, you've got them on their heels now. Now you give them a chance to catch their breath. You know your offensive line has not been getting a great push. You've got third and about 6 inches here, maybe a little bit more. A couple options, because you can always go on 4th and inches, and I wouldn't be shocked. I shouldn't say that. I don't know Coach Mertens well enough to know what he's going to do here as far as whether he wants to gamble a little bit, but you certainly can come back and go for it on 4th, particularly if you throw an incomplete pass. Be interesting to see if he goes for the first down on the ground, tries to surprise him and make something happen in the end zone, knowing he can always come back and go for it on 4th down.
And we'll take a timeout, but that'll give us a chance to tell you all about the Illinois Treasury. You have unclaimed property? Check today at IllinoisTreasurer.gov. The Illinois Treasurer's Office safeguards all unclaimed property, such as life insurance proceeds, missing paychecks, and forgotten bank deposits. There is $2 billion in unclaimed property. Check if your name is among the thousands who have unclaimed property at IllinoisTreasurer.gov. That's www.IllinoisTreasurer.gov. I think it was earlier in this quarter, Hub, that I was asking or implying that it was kind of a must-score situation for Lake Zurich. You didn't feel so much at that time, and now with 51 seconds left, they've got to put points on the board before they go in the locker room, don't you believe?
Yeah, I really think it's critical here, Dave. Unfortunately, I'm drawing a blank here, but I do believe who took the opening kickoff? Who's going to get the ball to start the second half?
But it will be Lake Zurich.
Lake Zurich, they do get the ball back. So you get some points here, you get the ball back. You can put yourself right back in the football game with a whole half to play. But if you don't get points here, you've got the whole halftime to think about it. You know you're chasing 2 scores. This is definitely not necessarily this play. You've got 2 cracks at it, but they've got to come away with some points here.
Less than a yard to a first down. They get it to Powell. Good for a first down. Stuttle will wrestle him down to the ground, but first and goal. That was the 11th play of the drive, the 3rd catch that Peyton Powell has had tonight. And we will take another timeout with 45 seconds to play. Ball will be at the 6-yard line.
And what I love so much about that, Dave, we talked about it just before the measurement. Coach Mertens not going to bang his head against the wall. We're not doing a great job in these short yardage running situations. We're not necessarily winning the battle at the line. We've got 2 cracks. Let's go through the air first. You also pick up 5 yards instead of a couple feet. Now you've got 4 cracks and plenty of time to run 4 plays with timeouts in your hip pocket and just 6 yards to get to pay dirt.
This is the 3rd of 4 games here today at Husky Stadium. Earlier today, Phillips claimed the 5A championship over Dunlap, and then in a thrilling ball game went down to the very last play of the game. An interception to the goal line preserved the Prairie Ridge win over Nazareth Academy. Back-to-back undefeated seasons for Prairie Ridge. And we have a championship game coming up on 8A that you don't want to miss. Loyola Academy, third straight year in the finals, taking on unbeaten Lincoln Way East.
And I do want to apologize to our viewing audience, Dave. I don't want to be the old guy in the booth who pulls out all the 50-year-old cliches, but pay dirt's one of my favorites. I just think I'll use pay dirt every chance I can.
All right, well, let's see if Lake Zurich can reach pay dirt. First down and goal. Play action. To the end zone. And touchdown. Matai centers.
That was a great job by Evan Lewandowski. He saw nothing there. He bought time with his feet. He knew that it was not to his advantage to turn the ball up the field. He waited for Emmers to break loose in the back corner of the end zone, put the ball in the only safe spot that he could, where only his guy could catch it. And now you've got a huge score, and we've got a football game.
It'll be Donnie Dawson looking to cut this lead in half. He does just that. Well, when Lewandowski was rolling, he let go of the ball. My first thought as I saw it coming out of his hands was he's just going to throw it away. You know, be safe. And yet Enters was right there. Here's that perfect throw again.
I mean, you know, there's trouble here if he's not careful, but look where he puts this ball. It's either going out of the end zone or he's going to get a touchdown. If he had tried to hit him on the numbers, that defender can get in there, get a hand on it. Well, it actually looks like he's trailing a little bit, although I don't know, because Emmers leaves his feet to go after that football. That's a really pretty throw from Lewandowski. And by the way, on the run, which I just suggested a few minutes ago might not be his strength, but he certainly did a nice job on that one.
Lewandowski completed his last 5 passes, including that touchdown throw. What a crucial drive, taking advantage of the turnover. So we have had 3 touchdowns scored in this game. 2 have come off turnovers.
And Dave, you know, if you don't get points there, this halftime is a nightmare. You're sitting there in the end zone, and all you're, I'm saying in the locker room, and all you're thinking about is everything that's gone wrong. Now you get in the locker room if you can avoid a big mistake here, and you got to be sky high. You know you're getting the football. You know you just proved you know what to do with it. All they got to do is avoid a mistake here, and a huge turning point in this game for Lake Zurich.
Return across the 25-yard line. On the return, it is Art Taylor. I saw him limp off earlier. He comes back with a return of 21 yards. Now Batavia has a couple timeouts if they'd like to use them.
Be interesting to see what Dennis Perron does here. He's got 31 seconds. He mentioned he's got a couple timeouts. They've gotten this lead by flinging the ball all over the lot. But boy, 72 yards is a long way to go. And if you make a mistake here, remember Riley Cooper's last pass attempt ended up in Lake Zurich's hands. That's what suggests, well, empty backfield. I guess we have our answer. He's going to throw the ball.
And Cooper picks the wrong alley because that's the one that contained number 7, Jack Sanborn. He was just kind of hanging around waiting for Cooper to come back to him, and he did.
And the problem with that, he had 5 receivers out. They ran 4 of them down the field when you know Lake Zurich is going to be a prevent. He only had 1 guy underneath. He was covered, and that play was going nowhere from the time they snapped the ball. Now they're just going to go to the locker room.
Well, you have one side that's leading 14-7.
I don't mean to interrupt. Look at the body language. Lake Zurich is sky high, and you've got Batavia kind of just walking over to the sideline, not feeling great about themselves, and they got a 14-7 lead.
You know, that's exactly where I was going. As you saw no, really, but that was the hop and the step you saw from Lake Zurich as soon as that clock went to 0. And this is a Lake Zurich team that when they gave up that touchdown with a minute and a half to play in the first quarter, the touchdown pass from Cooper to Peterson, that was the first touchdown they had allowed in the first quarter this year. Then Peterson-Cooper combination came back to make it 14-0 early, but about that crucial drive after the turnover, Lewandowski enters in the end zone, and a 14-7 ball game with momentum completely turned around into the Lake Zurich locker room. Let's go down to Sierra Santos right now. She's standing by with Batavia head coach Dennis Perron.
Up until that last drive, you guys were really able to interrupt their offensive rhythm. How do you keep on doing that in the second half?
Just play hard and do what we've done all week in our scout time with our work. I feel really good about our defensive plan. Feel great about our offensive plan. You know, we've had a couple drop passes really in a another pass that probably should have been caught. Cooper's been really sensational, and our defense has played lights out. You know, they really had to work to get that score, and we got to continue to do that because they're an explosive team.
Talking about those two big drop passes, then you have the fumble recovery, you take it down the field, you score. How did you like the way your guys responded in that moment?
Oh, unbelievable. You know, I mean, momentum is a big thing in games like this, and I'm very excited to go into halftime with the lead. Very, very important.
Now, you said that Riley Cooper doesn't necessarily look the part, but the aerial attack is what has you guys ahead right now. How helpful is it that he has so many different targets?
Oh, it's unbelievable. We have some weapons out there, and there's a lot of guys you have to cover. Anybody could get you. Peterson, of course, scores those touchdowns again, but there's a lot. We have a lot of weapons on offense, and hopefully some guys will make some big-time plays in the second half.
All right, Coach, we'll let you get inside the locker room and talk with your team. We've got halftime coverage coming up next. It's halftime at the 7A title game at Husky Stadium, where Batavia has a 14-7 lead over Lake Zurich. And I'm Sierra Santos here with Edgy Tim. And Edgy, one of your keys for Batavia was to get off to a hot start. What did you like?
Well, finally someone listened to me. Wife doesn't listen to me, kids don't listen to me, but finally Batavia and Riley Cooper listened to me, and that's exactly what the Bulldogs did. Off to a great early start, and you talk about a kid that was locked in. Riley Cooper was absolutely locked in early in this ball game.
One of the things that astounds me is that he has so many different targets to go to. It's an endless amount of options.
He does, and obviously Peterson with a big first half here as well, but you got to give that offensive line credit as well. He had a lot of time to throw in this first half, Sierra. That's a change if you're Lake Zurich.
I mean, it seemed like he had all the time in the world when he was in that pocket. And by the way, I did listen to you. Look, I'm in my warm jacket and my scarf and my gloves.
That's
you let
right.
me know earlier last night that it was going to be cold tonight, so I listened to you.
Save someone, finally.
Now, Lake Zurich finally getting on the board after that turnover and then marching down the field. It was really impressive to see what they did and how accurate their quarterback was.
Well, and again, it took Evan Lewandowski a while to get going, but and again, a huge interception here, and the momentum maybe they needed, and again, Lewandowski got going. This is a kid that threw for over 2,500 yards last year, and really it took him about a quarter and a half to really get comfortable and locked in, and maybe that's a momentum shift and the difference in the offense, because Sierra offensively, there was not a lot going on for Lake Zurich, at least for a quarter and a half.
Yeah, when you do have a big momentum shift like that to end the half, how do you think that translates over into the second half?
Well, you have to use it if you're Lake Zurich, because you didn't have a lot going on. Batavia, you just have to go back, refresh what you did well in that first half. And again, you make it work for you either way, one way or the other. But again, this has a feel of another tight ball game. We've seen another one before this. This one has that same kind of feel. And
never a doubt, Lake Zurich definitely had to score on that last drive to take advantage of that turnover. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the first half stats, and we'll have some more analysis for you. It's halftime at the 7A title game on NBC Sports Chicago, where Lake Zurich currently trails Batavia 14-7, and a pretty good showing from fans from both teams.
Great showing, no doubt. Both sides really nice crowds.
And good energy as well. Now in that first quarter, those offensive yards for Batavia, they were just crushing Lake Zurich.
Yeah, at one point it was about a 140-40 difference offensively, and here you go.
Wow.
You know, just balance for Lake Zurich, but just not, and obviously better than I thought on third down conversions. But again, just a passing yardage. We mentioned about Riley Cooper being locked in. It certainly shows. Again, but I think if we're going towards the second half and looking at the stats, again, time of possession very, very even there as well. But I think if you're Dennis Pyron, I think you want to get the running game going a little bit more.
And that's what I want to ask you. 134 yards through the air for Batavia. If you are coaching them right now, if you're in that locker room, what are you telling them?
Well, you don't want to fix what isn't broken, and that's Riley Cooper, so I don't want to abandon what he's doing, but I want to complement it, shall we say. Let's work in a little bit of run, mix things up just a little bit, and defensively, you keep doing what you're doing, because obviously up until the very end there, they've done a great job defensively of really just stymieing Lake Zurich up until that very last drive.
Okay, now you're the coach of Lake Zurich. Let's put on our thinking hats. What adjustments do you need to make for the second half?
We talked about Riley Cooper getting going. I want Evan Lewandowski to pick things right back up where he left off. You want to get the ball, and you want some early momentum, something they did not do in the first half. And then defensively, I've got a problem because Batavia's receivers are really kind of playing well here. We're in trouble a little bit in the secondary. Make an adjustment or two, change things up, but get something done a little bit differently defensively to hopefully combat a very hot Batavia offense and Riley Cooper.
Lake Zurich coach Luke Martins even said that was going to be an issue, a mismatch for Batavia's receivers. We'll be back right after this. We are going to have Dave and Hub with the call of the second half. Stick with us on NBC Sports Chicago.
It's been the theme of the weekend. Tight ball games here at Husky Stadium in DeKalb. You have one here in your 7-8 championship ball game. Batavia on top of Lake Zurich, 14-7. Dave Bernhardt along with Hub Arkish. And Hub, it almost feels like two different games. The first game lasted about a quarter and a half, maybe a quarter and two-thirds, and all of a sudden Lake Zurich makes something happen late.
It really does. Sierra and Tim showed us those stats and how even they were, but that's not really the story of this football game until the last 5 minutes, that 4.5-minute drive. Lake Zurich wasn't really in the game. They only had one first down, 4 of 7 on third down, because they converted 3 of 3 on that last drive. We cannot overstate the importance of really, the 2 turnovers so far and the fact that both teams got points out of them.
Luke Mertens is standing by with Sierra Santos.
You really capitalize on that turnover and put together a fantastic drive to end on a positive note in the first half. How do you carry that over and capitalize on it in the second half?
Well, yeah, I don't think we could underemphasize enough how important the last drive was, because we didn't have a lot going, and credit to their defense. They've done a great job against our offense. So we've done a great job of creating turnovers. We got one, we went down and scored, and now we just stress to the kids that it's really important to treat this like a 0-0 game, and we got to do something with the ball when we get it first to start the second half.
How do you stop Riley Cooper?
Well, it's tough. I mean, we knew that they had a great air assault. They got receivers that are big, tall, could run and could catch the ball, and he throws a real good ball. So we knew that was going to be a tough challenge. So we made some halftime adjustments, and we'll see how the second half goes.
So what adjustments do you need to get back in the game?
Well, I just think everyone needs to calm down. That fumble inside of our own 20-yard line, that's very uncharacteristic of us. We put our defense in a really bad spot there. And then their first drive, they did a really good job of moving the ball on us. And, our defense hasn't really had that challenge often. So everyone just needs to calm down. And now I feel like guys sort of go, okay, it's just football.
All right, so you took a deep breath during halftime. We'll see what you got in the second half.
Thank you.
Hub, Dave, let's send it back up to you.
Thank you very much, Sierra. We talk about Riley Cooper. He had 10 completions in the first half, 5 to Eric Peterson, all for a first down or a touchdown, but that was the lone interception, and that got things rolling in a big way mentally and physically for the Bears.
Yeah, it really did. Unfortunately, it was the completion to Jack Fabrini. It was an interception for Lake Zurich, and you just heard Coach Mertens talk about it. It was critical. They're not in the football game if they don't get that takeaway and then turn it into points. Again, it's one thing to make a mistake, to get a takeaway, for a team to turn the football over. when you can get a sudden change defense and a sudden stop and you don't get points out of it, it doesn't hurt. But the fact that Lake Zurich was not only to get the play that they needed from their defense and then to have Lewandowski find his rhythm and get him down the field. Now, as we just heard Coach Mertens say, they're going to take the opening half kickoff. If they don't need points here, but what they've got to do is find more rhythm in this offense. They've got to convince themselves there's things they can do successfully, and if they do, then we've got a football game.
This will take a sideways hop and right out of bounds. Austin LePage read that perfectly, and it will be Lake Zurich ball here as they will start in their quest for their second state championship. The first one came in 2007. The Bears have finished second three different times.
Out of bounds. Receivers have elected to take ball to 35. First down.
There's the drive chart for Batavia. Of course, nothing too spectacular until that 65-yard touchdown drive. In fact, what if we do a quick addition? Almost as many plays on that touchdown drive as they had in their previous 4 possessions. They'll start from their 35-yard line. Lewandowski connecting on his last 5 passes. Make it 6 in a row. Big time over the middle once again. He will find his receiver. Matthijs enters. He had the touchdown catch to close out the first half, and he gets a big one here into Batavia territory to start the second half.
And you know, that is really almost stealing a page from Dennis Perone. Running game not doing it, but we've got a guy, big presence in the pocket. Again, a little sidearm flip there. We saw that from Riley Cooper in the first half on the same play when he dropped it down the middle into that zone coverage, and that's a beautiful throw by Lewandowski. Nice catch by Evers. They're in business.
35-yard pass completion from their own 35 to the Bulldog 30. Lewandowski a little bit behind Powell. So Matthijs enters has come up huge here as we close out a half and open up another one.
I think Evan Lewandowski caught himself kind of between decisions there. He was getting ready to come out of the pocket and then all of a sudden saw that safety valve receiver and couldn't decide if he was going to run or throw. He put the ball behind him. If he had gotten that ball out in front of him, there was a lot of room to run out in that left flat.
3 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown for Enters. A lot of time for Lewandowski. To the end zone. Boy, that would have been an unbelievable catch had Trenton Berkeley been able to come down with that one.
Berkeley mistimed his leap on that. He saw the ball was coming up over his head. If he had just kept running, he might have been able to run underneath it. Instead, you'll see at the last minute, he's going to turn his back on the back of the end zone. He's going to face the ball and try and leap up and catch it. He needed to keep running. He might have been able to run underneath that.
Tommy Stuttle was on the coverage. Bears have been 4 of 7 on third downs. It is third down and 10. Free ball. And it's fourth down.
You can probably go for it here, don't you? I mean, you're not going to kick a field goal, obviously, and you're at the 35-yard line. You're not going to get a whole lot out of a punt. And that looks like exactly what Luke Mertens is going to do. He's going to see if he's got a 4th and 10 play in his playbook. So
after connecting on 6 passes in a row, Lewandowski has misfired on his last 3. He's going to have to connect on this one. And a bit too much, looking for Enters once again. So 6 straight completions, 4 misses once he hit the 30-yard line. Batavia to take over in the first half. The Bulldogs 18 pass plays, 15 runs. This was the last pass play on this drive.
Yeah, that was just kind of an awkward throw. It was almost, again, almost sidearm, and there was no reason to drop down on that. He's been pretty accurate when he gets that good 3-quarter delivery, but on that one, Lewandowski got the ball out too quick. He got his arm out of his arm slot and missed him badly.
There you see the drive chart for the Bulldogs. That 13-play drive to open up the game to our opening score. Martin will get a couple of yards to the outside, and that's about it.
It's a point in the game, Dave. It'll be interesting to see if these teams settle down to what we expected them to do best all along. You get a big stop out of the Batavia defense there after the big play. We know that Lake Zurich likes to make their living on defense. Now they've got to keep their team in the ball game. They've got to give their offense a chance. You've got the whole second half. It's only one score, but you can't let Cooper get that momentum back and start making big plays down the field.
Short pass to Richter. Colin Richter, one of about 5 different receivers. Make that 4 different receivers. They have had catches. Third catch for Richter. Third down and 3. Quickly a Stuttle. That play was well scouted. First man in, number 22, Ryan Verenios. Saw that one coming all the way.
And, you know, Dave, that play never had a chance, but in fairness to Riley Cooper, there's no second read on that play. It's a quick hitch. That's the only option he's got. It's not like he can pull the ball down, but there is a flag.
Sideline warning, Batavia. Third down.
I'll take it back. It's not a flag. I wonder what they were warned for. Probably somebody coming out on the field.
You know, originally when they had that sideline warning, it was all about making sure you stay back away from the field. That has kind of migrated into, okay, I need you to stop talking in my ear a little bit here. And it will be a punting opportunity here for Lake Zurich to get a decent return out of it. Not a pretty punt. It will be great field position for Lake Zurich when their offense takes over. But this figured to be a defensive battle. Batavia defending on the pass. Lake Zurich with the stop in a 14-7 game in your 7A championship ball game. Two teams combined 25-1 playing here in your 7A state championship ball game. Batavia, the 2 early touchdowns in the first half. Those 2 touchdown passes you saw to Eric Peterson. Then Matthijs enters. Makes it a 14-7 game to close out the first half. Great change in field position here for Lake Zurich in that last little punt situation.
Yeah, Dave, you had both defenses stepping up, but Lake Zurich got the big play down the middle from Lewandowski on the big pass, about a 40-yard game before they got stopped. And so they pick up about 25 yards of field position in the change of possessions here just about 3 minutes into the second half.
Take the handoff to Moses. Lewandowski in trouble. He'll go down on the sack. It's Michael Jancy, his 14th sack of the season. The second sack of the night for Batavia. Their defense also with 3 tackles for loss.
Dennis Perrone told us earlier in the week that he's got these 2 junior linebackers, Luke Wirtz and Michael Jancy, both 6'2". You got Wirtz at 230, Jancy just 210, but Jancy's the one who he said he thinks is going to be a Division I player in college. And you saw on that play the athleticism, the closing speed, the diagnostic abilities. That's a big play for Batavia.
Third down and 17. Bears have to get inside the Batavia 40-yard line. Oh, and it's nearly picked off. Tommy Stuttle was right there. Stuttle, the All-Stater, with 11 interceptions. this season nearly had the pick.
Evan Lewandowski gets a big break here because that's a bad read. He's got a receiver underneath, but he got greedy. There was 3 defenders and 1 receiver, and he did not get it close to his receiver. He is lucky that he got away with a chance to punt after that one.
So Lewandowski will have to hit this one. And this will work out very well for Lake Zurich. The punting game coming into play here in the 3rd quarter. Well, we still have a ways to go in this one, but we need you to stay tuned for our Country Financial Game Break. As a part of our IHSA Grayest Championship Game Series, you will see highlights from the 2005 8A contest between Lincoln Way East and Maine South. Your Country Financial Game Break coming up between our 7A and 8A ball games.
You know, Dave, sometimes it's the little things that make the difference. We'll remember the Moses fumble and the Cooper interception, the Peterson first down catches, but that dropped interception there, they get to punt, they pin Batavia at their own 5-yard line. This could be a big game-changing momentum piece in this game.
Bulldogs trying to carve out a little bit of space. It was Reggie Phillips with that carry.
This again is where we get down to some of the lack of size in that running game. You may love the speed, but you got that little 145-pound scat back there when they're all packed in tight. It'll be a little tough for him to get you that yardage you need so badly deep in your own end.
Again, banging around in tight quarters. This time it's Elijah Green.
There they go to the bigger back. Green at 5'10", 190 pounds. You'd like to see him run through some folks, but you don't run through number 7. It just doesn't happen. Jack Sanborn in there again, now starting to really make his presence felt for Lake Zurich.
Well, a tough spot here for Batavia. They need 7 yards for a first down inside their 10-yard line. And some whistles. Somebody wants a timeout. Who was taking it?
I think that's Batavia.
So the Bulldogs want to make sure they get this one right. Up by 7.
The 2017 IHSA Football State Finals are brought to you by Country Financial. Take simple steps today at countryfinancial.com/simplesteps.
Folks got what they came for in this one. Batavia ran out to a 14-0 lead. Lake Zurich tightened it up, and we have a ball game here. Under 7 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 7 for the Bulldogs. Cooper from his goal line. There's Stuttle. Stuttle, great cut. And a first down to the 25-yard line.
You know, Dave, if I didn't know better, I'd think that was a design play. Cooper looked like he was coming out of the backfield, but he stopped on a dime and knew exactly where Stuttle was. He turned and put the ball on the money. I don't think that was improvised. I think that's what they were trying to do.
17-yard completion from Cooper to Stuttle. Riley Cooper, his coach says he looks more like somebody who'd be the captain of your chess team. He's playing it here. Another reception by Stuttle. He'll get across that 30-yard line before he's brought down by Ryan Verenios. Pickup of 6 on first down.
Got me thinking now. I'm trying to remember what the chess players look like. You know, it's Bobby Fischer. I don't know.
I'm sure it was meant as a compliment.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. But actually, I did see a shot of Gary Kasparov the other day saying something awful about Putin.
Second down. All day for Cooper. And a smart move. Boy, he has played with so much poise tonight. He has had command of this field.
Yeah, Dave, that was smart two ways, because he knew it was time to get out of there, and he started to go right, and there was Sanborn. He said, no, I'm going left. He went the other way, turned nothing into about 3 or 4 yards there.
We'll have about a third down and about 2. Keep this drive moving. Looking for a yard, a little more. They have it and more. Quinn Erweiler, he's picked up the tough yards tonight for the Bulldogs. Erweiler carried on a 4th down early in this ball game from just about this position on the field that kept the drive going and led to Batavia's first touchdown.
That could have been a lot more, Dave. That was a saving tackle. That's one of those plays where they get everything packed in, and he went off tackle to the left and was out in the flat there. And if that DB doesn't pull him down, he might be going to the house.
A nice ankle tackle. Lucas Dwyer, number 9, came shooting in. That prevented a bigger gain.
One of the things that we haven't talked about, and I'm just noticing it as some of our notes are blowing around up here, we've seen a couple of these passes go awry. The wind is kicked up pretty good down there. If you look at the flags to our right are blowing straight across the field. To the left, they're a little more still.
Cooper will test that wind here. He has Martin. And another tackle, this time by Joey Stutzman. And a late flag comes out.
I have no idea. I have no idea. That's the tackle point.
And this will go against the Bulldogs from Batavia.
Boy, I didn't see that. That must have been away from the play.
Our referee, Addison Owen, will fill us in here in just a moment.
Illegal block in the back. Number 11 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
That is the first penalty against Batavia tonight that we will walk off yardage.
Really interesting, because the flag came from flying deep in the secondary, and it's nowhere near. Oh, there it is. Boy, that's kind of ticky-tacky. that's coming up late as the ball carrier is going down, and it wasn't even much of a hit.
Cooper to the left side in traffic. Double coverage. Receiving into that pass. Batavia was looking for Zach Weber, but once again, Verenios was there along with Dwyer.
Yeah, and Riley Cooper got away with one there, because if Verenios had looked for the ball instead of turning at the last minute, he might have picked that ball off. I thought he was in better position to pull it down than the receiver was. And fortunately for Cooper, he just didn't see it soon enough. That was a dangerous throw in the double coverage.
And that was a long throw across the field as well. 3rd down and long. This quarter, Batavia's converted 2 of their 3 3rd down situations. This one will require about 20 yards and a screen. Lake Zurich defends it well. They were able to get the ball to Elijah Green. But the Bulldogs will send their punting unit onto the field. Remember the last time Batavia was punting, it was a high snap. Colin Richter got it down, but was unable to get a great kickoff.
It's interesting, Dave. We were looking for these defenses to show up. This game has really bogged down a little bit now. We're seeing a lot of incomplete passes that play out of bounds. There's still 4:23 left in the 3rd period. Things moving much slower now.
Richter has to backpedal 1 step to get that one. High and short. Lake Zurich will get an opportunity near the 50-yard line. The Bears trail 14-7, and this is how we got to this stage. Batavia taking an opening drive down the field after a turnover. 12-yard pass completion from Cooper to Peterson for the score, and a 7-0 lead. That combo would hook up again. 8:06 to play in the first half. Peterson Cooper 14-zip Batavia after an interception by Lake Zurich. With 38 seconds left in the half, Evan Lewandowski finds Matthijs enters on a great catch in the end zone. That made it 14-7 at the half, and that's where we sit with 4:15 to play in the 3rd quarter in the 7A championship game. Lewandowski with the throw to the left side. Moses able to hang on to it, bobbled it about 3 times, but Jack Moses will take it inside the Batavia 40-yard line for a first down.
And you know, it's really, momentum is a very funny thing, Dave. You see this is just a nice, safe pass. You've got 10, 12 yards. Let's take what they give us. He bobbled that ball. He was lucky to hang on to it. But even though you've got Batavia up by a score, we talked about Lake Zurich getting the momentum at the end of the half. This entire half has been played in Batavia's end of the football field, and you feel something coming. Lake Zurich still has the momentum here.
14-yard completion on first down. First down pass again, deep, enters over the shoulder, catch, touchdown, there it is. Just as you called, Hub, you felt something ready to happen. 39 yards for the score and 1 point away from tying it up.
Well, and it's really, you've got Batavia discovered in the first half that nobody was going to be able to cover Eric Peterson. Luke Mertens has discovered now nobody can cover Matthias Evers. And I mean, he's had his way. He could have had a couple more big plays. He only had a step there, but at 6'2", 200, such a big body. And that is as perfect as Evan Lewandowski can throw that football. And we are now a kick away from a tie football game.
And you are looking at that very point. Lake Zurich 14, Batavia 14. The first 2 touchdowns of this game were scored by Eric Peterson. The next 2 touchdowns scored by number 10, Matthijs Enters. Right over the shoulder. Great throw and catch.
And I really appreciate you helping me out, Dave, because I've checked the pronunciation 5 times. The problem is Matthias is spelled funny here. I mean, I'm sure it's spelled correctly, but you look at it, and it's actually Mattthijs. And so I will try and get it right the rest of the way. But Enters is the story. Enters and Peterson and their quarterbacks, they're the story of this football game right now. We were so sure coming in it was going to be Joey Stutzman, and you looked at all those little backs and the 5-6 backs that they're going to run on and off the field for Batavia, and yet it's the 2 big receivers. Enters now 4 catches, 2 touchdowns on the game. Peterson, I believe, has 5 and 2, and so we're looking at which one's going to get the difference maker, because we've got a tie ball game now with 3:51 left in the 3rd period.
Field position turned to Lake Zurich, as Hub mentioned. Now it's Batavia. Their job will be to start from their 20-yard line and create their own field position. Well, I guess no matter how you get there, you get to the point where this is the game we thought it would be, right? Maybe 14-14 in the 3rd.
And remember what we said about halfway through the 2nd period. If you have followed the story of this Lake Zurich team, even down 14-zip, you knew they weren't going away. I'm not predicting an outcome here. Batavia had a great first period and a half. This is a very even ball game. We knew these were 2 really evenly matched teams, but the one thing you could count on is that these Lake Zurich kids, they weren't going to let any kind of difficulties get them down. They've come all the way back. Now we'll see if Batavia has an answer.
Cooper under center. Sanborn will get credit for a tackle for a loss. That was Quinn Erweiler once again the carry.
It's going to be interesting now to see if Dennis Perron can avoid getting too conservative. What got him here in the first half was trusting Cooper, letting him throw the ball all over the place. Now Cooper made a dangerous throw on that last possession. Coach might have seen it too, but you're going to have to put the ball back up in the air. That's how you got the lead. That's how you're going to get it back if you are.
Jared Martin comes through. Cooper looked that way. Martin could not get free, and neither can Cooper. Jackson Farsalis, number 66, the nose tackle, the 265-pounder, will wrestle Cooper to the ground.
It's just everything kind of going Lake Zurich's way right now. They can feel it. They're feeling good about themselves. They've come all the way back. They know that they've got a little bit of an advantage, actually, size-wise, when their defense is on the football field, and they're taking advantage of it right now.
Another 3rd down and long. And before the snap, the play is held up and a flag on the far sideline.
False start on the offense, number 11, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And doesn't this feel like early in the first quarter when Lake Zurich had a penalty or a loss or a fumble that it just did not feel right.
Yeah, they're out of rhythm right now. And I actually misspoke there, Dave, because Zurich doesn't really have a size advantage. They've got, you know, Versailles in the middle on the nose at 265, and of course Sanborn at 6'2", 220. But they're actually more of a smallish defense, and they're doing a really nice job of chasing. Mertens talked about relentless pursuit from his defense, and that's what they're doing right now.
On 3rd and 13. On the run and a completion across the 30-yard line. That will be enough for the first down. And when you are looking for a first down, you look for number 11 if you're a Batavia fan. For Eric Peterson, every one of his catches tonight, 6 of them have either been for first downs or touchdowns.
And if you're joining us late, we told the story in the first half. Eric Peterson was a basketball player until this year. This summer, he came to a passing camp, a 7-on-7 camp here in DeKalb. And according to his coach, he came back a receiver, and he has been that and more tonight.
Well, now a little extra bounce in the step of the Bulldogs. Martin wide open. And this looks like the Batavia opening drive of this game.
Lake Zurich is saying fumble. I don't think so. The official is signaling the ball down. Lake Zurich thought they had the football. Now we see a penalty flag coming out.
And I don't believe that's going to work to the advantage of Lake Zurich.
I'm afraid somebody might have said something they shouldn't.
Yep.
That's a late flag coming out.
Robert Hinsberger thought he had something there.
They're talking it over on this one. They want to get it right, but this is going to be on Lake Zurich for something they said.
Yeah, delay a game on the defense. Number 2, 5 yards from the end spot. It will be first down.
Yeah, that's better than the alternative that I suspected. They were laying on it. They thought the ball was on the ground. They were holding up the play. They were excited. And that's, you know, it is delay a game, throw the flag. I'd hate to see a kid get a flag for saying something or you know, worse yet, possibly brushing against somebody. Tough spot. They thought they had a fumble. They didn't. A big break for Batavia. They are within 2 yards of crossing midfield for the first time this half, Dave.
This drive starting at the 20-yard line with fans on their feet. You can feel the press box shaking a little bit. 14-14 ball game. Nothing there. Oh, there were about 13 bodies just stacked up at the line. And now we have more whistles. I don't see the flag.
Lake Zurich is saying, yeah, there is. I don't see the flag, but the official just pointed towards Batavia. I'm not sure what this call is going to be.
All the way on the far side of the field on the 50-yard line.
Illegal formation on the offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. Batavia scoring a couple of touchdowns in the first 16 minutes of this game. They have been shut out since then. There was great coverage on the play. Jack Fabrini had an interception earlier. Jared Martin was the intended receiver.
Yeah, that's on Riley Cooper, you know, because you see the defender knocking the ball away, but he's open early. He's got him all the way across the field. It doesn't look like he's got a lot more space there. He waits until the defensive back can catch up, and then he puts a hat on him as soon as he touches the football. Maybe should have hung on to it anyway, but if Cooper gets that ball out earlier, he's got a pretty easy pitch and catch.
Jack Sanborn was the inside man. That's who Cooper had to lob the ball over. 2nd down and long. And throwing deep. And the 2nd interception of this game for Lake Zurich. This one is picked off by Anthony Mangano. Mangano had the interception against Mount Carmel to preserve the semifinal win 1 week ago.
Yeah, that's just a tough decision by Riley Cooper. He's throwing into a stacked zone coverage there. There's more defensive backs than there are receivers, and he floated that ball up there a long time. Look at that. You see 3 white shirts and 1 red shirt in the picture, and that's not where you want to put that football. Actually, Tommy Stuttle is out there. He never even knows the ball is coming. I don't think he ever turned his head for it.
We have had 3 turnovers today. The first 2 led to touchdown drives. Powell is ready to turn and go before he had that ball in his hand. Stuttle on the coverage.
It's the second time that young man has done that tonight. We talked about it. You've got to catch the football first, then you can run with it. And Dave, you almost wonder, 33 seconds left in the 3rd quarter of the state championship game, 14-14. All of a sudden, we're seeing mistakes we weren't seeing earlier. You wonder if the collars are getting a little tight.
Yep. The temperatures dropped as well. In fairness to the receivers, we're down in about 38 degrees right now. Again, the wind, just a slight cross breeze. Lewandowski, he's going to look for something big to Powell, and it was a bit too much coverage on the play by Nicholas Conger, but a flag was thrown at the 40-yard line. That's about where Powell was sprinting past.
It's a late flag, but you've got I think Zurich player motioning at the official like, what did I do? Yeah, you say illegal receiver downfield, but strange call. The flag was actually thrown right at the feet of Trenton Berkeley, who's a receiver.
That was about 15 yards downfield from where the line of scrimmage originated.
Yeah, unless Berkeley was covered on the line of scrimmage, I'm not sure. Official saw something I didn't.
We've had a few penalties here in the 3rd quarter.
Ineligible downfield. Number 10 on the offense is covered. Penalty is declined.
That's what it was. Yeah, I think he meant number 3 because he was covered up on the line. Even though he is a receiver, he becomes ineligible.
Well, that's the formation that led to the call. Lewandowski, quick release. He will get it out to Berkeley.
Yeah, Andrews, of course, is their big receiver. He's the tight end, and he was covered. Must have been Berkeley was up on the line of scrimmage, and that's why he threw the flag at Berkeley's feet.
Now 4th down and 2. And this clock will wind down here in the 3rd quarter. Well, this is what it is supposed to be. It was a 14-7 game at the half. Lake Zurich with the touchdown catch right here by Enters, or it will be coming up. But in the end, 14-14, Enters with the TD. We go to the 4th quarter. The handoff and a fumble, and Batavia will have it, allowing more than a touchdown. To the end zone, touchdown! They go to Eric Peterson for the opening score of this game. 12-yard pass from Cooper to Peterson. Cooper to the end zone, there's Peterson again! And that one's picked off. The interception by Jack Mabrini. 1st down and goal. Play action. To the end zone. And touchdown. Matthijs Enters. 14-yard completion on 1st down. 1st down pass again, deep. Enters over the shoulder, catch, touchdown. There it is. Just as you called, Hup, you felt something ready to happen. 39 yards for the score and 1 point away from time. Riley Cooper along with Evan Lewandowski, all 4 touchdowns coming off of their right arms. That's how it looks, the matchup between those two interceptions by Cooper. The most recent started this particular drive, which will end in a punt for Lake Zurich. 5th punt of the game for Evan Lewandowski. He's averaged almost 38 yards in his first kicks. This will be a low one. He's going to hope to get a good roll. It works out pretty well.
You know, Dave, the thing that jumped out at me off that quarterback comparison is if you'd have told me coming into this game that Ryler Cooper was going to have thrown 28 passes in the first 3 quarters of the football game, I'd have said, no way, that's not what Batavia does. It is the reason they're in this game. That's where their 14 points came from in the first half. But we heard Lake Zurich coach Luke Mertens tell us we made some adjustments at halftime. They made the right ones because Cooper is not nearly as effective, or at least hasn't been in the third quarter through the air as he was in the first half.
Those 2 interceptions, the first interceptions Cooper has thrown in the playoffs. He also has thrown 3 touchdown passes in each of the first 4 playoff games. Sandborg went for the strip, will be settling for the tackle.
You know, just so impressed by this young man. You've got a 220-pound linebacker outrunning a 180-pound quarterback, and outrunning him by a lot. You know, it's almost like you can tell the D1 athlete from the really good high school players, maybe a D2 player. There's something special about Sanborn. That's why he is headed to Wisconsin.
10th tackle of the night for Sanborn. Batavia's been faced with 2nd and 3rd and longs this entire third quarter, now early into the 4th. Looking to create some space. There's a completion. Dare I say again, Eric Peterson, when you need a first down, you go to Peterson. 7 receptions. 5 of them have been first downs. 2 more have gone for touchdowns. Big throw from Cooper.
You know, you watch football games like this, and the people are sitting at home saying, all right, we know it's going to Peterson. We know it's going to Anders. Why can't we stop him? It's because they're 2 of the best football players on the field. That's the difference in high school when you get to the next level.
19-yard reception sets up the first down. And bursting through the hole across midfield, the ball came loose right at the end. And it will be Lake Zurich ball. The 3rd turnover of the night for Batavia.
And guess who comes up with the football? Who else would it be? It's got to be number 7 for Lake Zurich.
Sanborn with that fumble recovery.
And you know, it's also probably no mistake that it looks like it's Ross Hinsberger who knocks it out. He has been laying, well, no, I guess it wasn't. He was certainly celebrating as if he did, but we don't see him getting there in the picture. It's actually number 6
like
for
Joey Stutzman got it.
Joey Stutzman. Well, there you go, Stutzman and Sanborn, what we expect.
Lewandowski on the move, connects once again. Michael Gallus. And the chains will move on a 13-yard completion. Looking for the go-ahead score. Miles surging forward. Off the bottom of that pile will come Stutzman.
And that is the first thing you learn when they're teaching you the running back position. No matter what happens, your legs never stop. Stutzman was stopped at the line of scrimmage. He kept pounding those legs, driving his legs forward, turned nothing into 3 yards.
Batted down by Erweiler. That almost stuck in his hands. When Erweiler has played on both sides of the ball tonight.
That was a little tunnel vision by Lewandowski. He's got to see that. You're going to pull that ball down because he had no chance, and he is lucky that that ball didn't stick in Erweiler's hands.
3rd down and 7. Lewandowski 166 yards in the air. They'll go to the ground. And a loss on the play. Stutzman. He was met head on by Michael Bouch. Also in for the ride was number 33, Andrew Hines. The hole was also filled by number 27, Michael Nemec.
Yeah, far be it from me to second guess Luke Mertens. He's brought this team back, but I don't like that call at all. That is not your 3rd and 7 play. You know, we've been talking about it throughout the game. Joey Stutzman, along with Jack Sanborn, the reason you're in this football game, but not what he's doing from the running back position. I don't know if he's got a 7-yard carry all night long.
Second time the Lake Zurich has gone for it on 4th down. They missed on their first. They need 8 yards. A quick kick from Lewandowski, and that will get about maybe, 8-10 yards? 12? Yeah. It'll be Batavia ball.
That did not work. You're better off, if you're going to do that, let him step back and punt. The kid's averaging 39 yards a kick. I get what you were going for. You were trying to pin him down inside the 10 again, but unfortunately that one doesn't work out for Lake Zurich.
9-yard punt is the distance, but more importantly for Batavia, they will start at their 28-yard line with 9:12 to play in this game. Bulldogs have not scored since the 8-minute mark of the second quarter.
You know, we see this all the time at every level. You can't help but outsmart yourself sometimes as a coach. Evan Lewandowski, I gave him too much credit, averaging 36.6 per punt. I'm not sure why the quick kick gave him a better chance in that spot.
Near side of the field, short completion, only about 3, maybe 4 yards. Batavia defense so fast they get it into the hands of Elijah Green. He fumbled just moments ago. The last 2 Batavia turnovers, their defense has been able to overcome them. Again, an empty backfield for Cooper. Looking right all the way. Did he get in? He did.
Foot in. Yeah.
How about a fingertip grab by Peterson?
That was big-time college football, maybe NFL stuff. He dragged that back foot, kept it in, and it was obviously intentional. You could tell he was trying to tap that toe. He keeps that foot down. Look at that. Gets it in just inside the white. That is a great catch by Peterson.
14 yards and another first down. Three receivers to the near side. Couple to the left. A 138-yard receiving game for Peterson and 2 touchdowns. Short side of the field on the sprint. Jeremiah Evers. We've seen that play a couple of times tonight.
It's almost as if what this game is coming down to, Dave, is both defenses have figured out the running games. I don't think either team is going to win this ball on the ground, and yet you've got Cooper's made some mistakes. Lewandowski, made an ill-advised throw on that last possession, but it just feels like one of these quarterbacks is going to have to make a play down the field to get their team out front.
Cooper again under center. Batavia will give you a lot of different looks on the offensive side. Play clock winding down. Green is able to stumble up. I believe it was Jack Fabrini that just got a hand on the left foot of Green. Faced with another crucial 3rd down. 3rd and 4. A whole different package comes in for the Bulldogs. Everybody on their feet. Cooper has time and connects. Tommy Stuttle. He has enough for the first down, and the chains will move.
And what is so great about this, Dave, is the catch is beautiful, but it's the route. He runs it right past the first down marker, and then he's got to go down and make an athletic play, knowing that he's past the marker and he's got the first down. If he had run that route a yard shorter, he could have made the great catch, but he would have come up short.
1 yard extra than he needed. 4 yards for a first down. He picked up 5. The drive continues for Batavia. Evers runs into some trouble in the form of Ryan Verenius. And a loss on the play. 3-yard loss. That's up 2nd down and long. We're approaching the midway point of the 4th quarter. Peterson will come to the near side. Cooper now in trouble. He'll go down. Nope.
Not going to win that one. You saw who was coming.
Cooper looked for any open space, but that space was filled by number 7, Jack Sanborn.
It's a nice play by Cooper. He pulls the ball down. He doesn't want to make the mistake he's already made 3 times so far today. He's looking for somewhere to go. He did break open, but instead of tearing it upfield, he was looking for a receiver, but at that point, Sanborn's just going to close too fast on him.
That's the first sack by the Bears tonight. 3rd down and 15. See the numbers for Sanborn. Big night. Flinging. And a flag comes out. It was Fabrini on the coverage. Lucas Dwyer does not understand the flag. We'll see what it all means.
You know, the shame of that one, Dave, is it might be interference. It was a bang-bang play. But you've also got Anthony Glisson getting away with blatant holding out there. I thought the official was going to pull the flag twice. He did not. He should be offsetting penalties, but apparently he's going to get away with the hold, and they're going to call the interference.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 9, 15-yard penalty will be short of the 1st down. Replay 3rd down.
That is Lucas Dwyer that will pick up that penalty.
Right now, as he comes out to his right, you see 66 there. He's got a hold of him. Now he's got a hold of him again. Going to hold him one more time and push him out of the way. And they get away with that. But the interference gets called.
The penalty takes it up about a half a yard short of a 1st down. And now the fumble. Free ball. Picked up by Hinsberger. The 4th Batavia turnover of the night will give Lake Zurich the ball with 4:52 to play.
We'll see a heck of a stick here on this fumble, and just mistakes by Batavia are killing them, Dave.
Opportunity for Lake Zurich for the win when we come back. .14 game, 4:52 to play. Lake Zurich ball, and this is why. Quinn Erweiler with the carry, and he'll take a big-time hit. And Robert Hinsberger right there. The ball will be in midfield. And it was Joey Stutzman.
Well, you know, I was going to say probably Sanborn or Stutzman. I didn't want to guess around. I knew it wasn't Sanborn. There's Joey Stutzman. You know, the reverence that the coach speaks of this kid, and I'm watching him at running back, and I'm thinking, you know, he's a great kid. He's obviously not a special running back. He's a special football player. He's been proving it all night long.
Ball squarely in midfield. Lewandowski looking to attack in the air. Howell got his hands underneath it. Gain of about 8.5. Lake Zurich, all 3 timeouts remaining. Batavia with 2.
Somehow you had a feeling it had to come down to this, Dave. Whoever had the ball last. Now, we can't guarantee we won't be playing a little extra time today because these offenses have struggled throughout the second half. But now you've got Lake Zurich back on Batavia's end of the field.
Looking for the 1st down on the ground, and the Bears will have it. Stutzman nudges across the 40-yard line. Keep an eye on that clock. We'll be coming up on 4 minutes to play. Stutzman never leaves the field. Number 6 for Lake Zurich. First down. This time it's Moses. He'll get the handoff. Right side. First down and more. Moses knocked out of bounds, but not until he gets inside the 20-yard line. Jack Moses.
Even on that play, it's the play fake inside to Stutzman that draws most of the defense, and then Moses is able to get outside, turn that one into a big play, and now they're in the red zone for the first time.
20-yard run for Moses. Moses got to the corner in a hurry. Moses comes to the near left side. Powell is up at the top. Stutzman the carry. Tackled wonderfully by Andrew Hines. He just reached out and got a hold of a couple shoelaces.
You know, Dave, you mentioned a couple plays ago, Stutzman never leaves the field. Luke Mertens told us a story about when he got there this summer. He was trying and working so hard in practice, the coaches were taking him out of practice to try and get him a rest and not get him too beat up. Only 170 pounds. He said Stutzman came to us. He said, Coach, I don't want to miss a single play of a game or practice. It's my senior year. I'm going back in.
Lewandowski with another completion. Trenton Berkeley on the receiving end of this pass to the 14-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 5. Now, if you're looking for field goals, Donnie Dawson, 6 of 11 this year for Lake Zurich.
He does have a long of 40, and from where they're at right now, Dave, they're at the 14, so you're talking about a 32, 33-yarder. It is 3rd down. My guess is they're going to try and get the first down, though. They're not going to move this ball to the middle of the field. I don't think they'd want to kick it from the hash. They better hurry. 5 on the play clock.
And they were just looking to get Batavia to jump, so I have to believe that all that scrambling and anxious look was all about trying to get the Bulldog to jump. Nothing doing. Timeout, Lake Zurich. Each team with 2 remaining.
It is a bit of an adventure with Dawson. He's got 11 attempts on the field. He's converted 6 of them. 11 attempts at the field goal, I should say. But again, he has hit a 40-yarder. So they're looking for their, what is it, about 5-yard play here. If they don't get it with just 2:23 remaining, you'd think they'd almost have to take a whack at the field goal.
Coming up in just a few minutes, or maybe a little more, on NBC Sports Chicago. The IHSA state finals continue with the 8A matchup between Lincoln Way East and Loyola. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock on NBC Sports Chicago Plus, or you can stream it live on the NBC Sports app. And we've been waiting for that one, but we have some business to take care of here in 7A.
I did mention about 15-20 minutes ago, not thinking it would be a factor in the kicking game. The wind has kicked up pretty good. The wind is in Lake Zurich's face, but this kick's just not long enough that I would think that the wind would make much of a difference.
Well, the Bears will be happy to get 5+ yards on this play and take the field goal thoughts out of it. On the floor, and it's picked up by Lewandowski. So now the field goal opportunity does come into play.
And it's about a 36-yarder from where they are on the field right now. Not a terrible snap. Lewandowski just took his eyes off the ball. Maybe he wasn't ready for it yet. Don't know, but this would be Mr. Dawson, and he's going to get a chance.
6 of 11. They'll put it right down at the 25-yard line. Out of the hold of Lewandowski. This one is up, and it is wide left. It looked like it may start slicing in. It never got there. So the score remains 14-14 with 1:37 to play.
You know, he had plenty of leg, Dave, and he approached it aggressively. I don't think that he was uncomfortable or out of his element. He just never got it into the middle of the field. He was on the left hash mark. We talked about that. Maybe they would have liked it in the middle, but he just doesn't get it there. Now you can see from the other end zone that the kick is just wide left all the way. He got it true. It was a really nice kick. He just didn't push it quite far enough to the right.
And the moment everybody realizes it's wide is right there. So with the minute 37 left, 2 timeouts remaining each way. Will Batavia play to go to overtime? Now they've got the field spread. Question answered. Evers cuts it up. Look at the drive forward by the 5'7", 130-pound running back Jeremiah Evers.
You're talking about his lack of size all night. He looked like a 230-pound fullback on that one, didn't he?
13-yard run to the 33. Boy, there was some stripping attempts going on here. He wasn't giving it up. Cooper all day. And he just got rid of that ball. He was closest man to it was Jared Martin.
I think he thought perhaps Martin was going to break deep, and he threw it to the outside of on his outside shoulder, getting him to the sideline. But Martin never really cut for the sideline. And fortunately, though, he didn't put it up into trouble. There was double coverage, but he didn't really put the ball anywhere near the defenders.
Buck 11 to play. Batavia has turned the ball over 4 times tonight. Cooper 22 of 32 for 237 yards, and he wants a timeout.
This is not a point in the football game where you want to be guessing. He's going to get over and talk to the coach and make sure he knows exactly what he wants him to do on this play.
Well, if you're the Lake Zurich defense, I think you're over there on your sideline looking for number 11 in a red jersey, Eric Peterson. What a night he has had. Peterson tonight, 8 catches, 138 yards. 2 of those catches going for touchdowns. The other catches, all first down receptions. And if you have a minute 11 left to play in a state championship ball game, number 11 is a person you're going to look to.
You know, Dave, clearly we have no rooting interest in this game. I'm going to be happy for whoever wins. I'm going to feel bad for whoever loses. But the one young man that's kind of stuck in my mind and my heart right now is Donnie Dawson. He's a senior at Lake Zurich. I think it's the only time he's been on the field tonight. And you get that opportunity. It's something you dream about as a kicker. And it wasn't a bad kick. He just didn't get it quite far enough to the right.
He may get another opportunity before we walk out of here today. 2nd and 10. Cooper floats this one. Did he stay in bounds?
I don't think so.
Was it
he
a
caught
pick?
it, but I don't think he was in bounds.
Now we'll talk about it. No. The interception would have gone to Anthony Mangano. He already has one tonight.
Dave, I cannot escape the feeling that may have been a guess because the back judge comes running up, and I don't think he saw it. The guy closer to it, he wanted to make the call. He said he didn't see it. So the back judge, he's dragging that leg. It's close, boy.
Well, keep an eye on the knee here. Oh, boy, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure even with replay if you could overturn that.
It's 3rd down and 10. Open, first down. Right there for sure by Colin Richter. He knew exactly where he was. That will stop the clock. 58 seconds left to reset the chains on the 10-yard completion. Batavia's ready to roll. Now the clock moves. Flag goes down. Cooper salvages a sack, but in all likelihood, this will be a holding called against the Bulldogs. go back 10 yards.
Well, give it to Batavia. They're certainly not playing for overtime. They're going to take every one of those 48 seconds they got left and see if they can win it now.
Holding, number 63 on the offense. 10-yard penalty is the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, the one thing the Bulldogs absolutely do not want to do, whether it be by downs or turnover or punt, is give the ball back to Lake Zurich here in the final 48 seconds. Completion to the 41-yard line. Cooper waited, and he finally found Zach Weber. Clock rolling. Cooper. Clock stops near midfield. That's still 4 yards short of the first down as Richter hauled that one in. 14 seconds left. Third down and 4.
We have a difficult angle up here in the booth because all of these plays on this near sideline are coming right at us, but I'm not even sure he had a foot down on that one either. I don't think we really have time to worry about it. But they've basically got one shot now, because even if they convert the first down, once that clock starts again, well, I guess they'll stop it until they get to the line. Maybe they could get a second play off if they can convert the first down.
To the sideline. And good enough for the catch, the first down. The clock stops. Peterson gets another one, his 9th catch of the night. 9 seconds left, 45-yard line. That's how far Batavia is away from claiming their school's 2nd state football championship. Peterson again, and we'll get a quick timeout. 3 seconds left.
In case you're wondering, Batavia kicker Jack Carlson has tried 6 field goals on the year, hit only 3, and something tells me that from where they're at right now, it is not an option. This would be about a 51-yard field goal.
As long as 35, and the timeout called. The first down was made, and 3 seconds. There's only really one place to go with this one.
To the end zone we will go.
And that's where they'd find pay dirt, eh?
They hope. It will be a jump ball. We got a basketball player going after it who became a receiver this summer, so wouldn't that be a story? But yeah, they're going to put one up. This is the Hail Mary time. You got nothing to lose.
Eric Peterson stands 6 feet 3 inches tall. Riley Cooper, who's completed 27 of 39 passes for 285 yards. We'll be looking for him and anybody else wearing a crimson jersey in the end zone. And Lake Zurich will drop back. There's Peterson. The final play of regulation. Cooper, time, lets it fly. Deep, and too deep. And we're going to play overtime in the 7A championship game.
Whew. You know, you can't really give an edge to either team after 48 minutes. I mean, there is something fitting about this. These guys have played each other to a standoff. It hasn't been perfect, been turnovers on both sides of the ball. Batavia gotten away with more than Lake Zurich has, but Batavia's also done a little bit more on offense, and that's why we end up 14-14 at this point. Some great defense played all night long, some big plays on offense. Now we're going to see who can keep it a little cleaner and avoid the big mistake and maybe come out on top.
So after a little bit of a break here, we will have a coin toss at midfield. Team that wins the toss can choose whether they would like to play offense or defense first. Plays will start at the 10-yard line. You get 4 downs to score, and the other team will get the opportunity. A long time ago, early in this ball game, opening drive of the game, it was Cooper to Peterson. That went for 12 yards and a touchdown. That was a minute and a half left in the first quarter. And then a few minutes later, that same combination made it 14-0. Batavia. Interception by Jack Fabrini set up this touchdown pass. It came with 38 seconds to play in the first half, cutting the lead to 14-7. Evan Lewandowski to Matthijs enters. That same combination would click again. 3:51 to play in the third with that catch and the subsequent extra point. We were all tied at 14. After that, we had 4 turnovers. Nothing led to scoring. It was a 35-yard field goal miss from Donnie Dawson with 1:37 left. And now the two teams will have at it from the 10-yard line. Luke Mertens, in his first year at Lake Zurich High School, came over from Lakes after having started the program at Lakes High School. Gets to play a little bit extra. And for Dennis Piron, for Batavia, the head coach for the Bulldogs, he'll be looking for his second state title as well.
You know, it's really interesting with both offenses playing from the 10. This is not going to play into the strength of what either team has done tonight. Neither one all that impressive running the football. Dennis Piron's got that big smile on his face again. He has been smiling since he got here. He's having a great time, and you got to love it. They really are enjoying themselves. Hey, it's the state championship. You're going in overtime. What's not to love?
This is how it looks through 4 quarters of play. Numbers belonging to Batavia. You've seen the ball been thrown a lot more tonight with a little bit more heavier emphasis on passing than rushing than these teams had coming in. Batavia throws 21 first downs. This will be the 3rd overtime game in Class 7A history. The last overtime game came in 2009. That's when Wheaton Warrenville South and Glenbard West went to 2 overtimes before Wheaton Warrenville South won that ball game. In fact, I believe that was our IHSA Championship Series game that we featured prior to this ball game. Earlier on in 2003, Oswego defeated Libertyville 28-21 in double overtime. So if patterns hold, we're going to play at least 2 overtimes. Coming up next, boy, we're waiting for it, and we have such an amazing game here. You think, what's coming up next? That would be Lincoln Way East and Loyola in your 8A championship ball game.
Well, it's funny, you know, we were visiting in the press box while they were wrapping up the 6A game, and the one thing we kept coming back to, Dave, in both 7A and 8A, how evenly matched these 4 teams to each seem to be. Certainly it has proven out in our 7A game, and hopefully we'll get more great football in the 8A shot.
In fact, in that 6A game, Prairie Ridge won their 2nd straight state title, but it took an interception at the goal line to preserve that win. Well, here will be our toss to see who'll get to choose offense or defense. The other team will get to choose which end they'll defend.
The field that we play at. We will go from the 10-yard line, 1st and goal. No chains, no clock. Each team gets 1 timeout per overtime. Not per possession, but per overtime. No timeouts carry over. Just like at the beginning of the game, like you are the visitors. Tail, the head. I will throw the coin, let it drop before I throw it. What's your call loud? Heads is a call. It is a head. You have won the toss. Offense, defense, or which end of the field? You would like to play defense. Which end of the field would you like to play at, Coach?
We want to go down to the quiet end.
Okay, so you turn around, put your back, red over here. Back there.
So Lake Zurich will play defense. Batavia will go on offense, and your Dennis Piron say we want to go to the quiet end. And the quiet end is down to the south. That's because the large student section for Lake Zurich is at the north end of the field. So 4 downs here for Batavia for any kind of a score, and then Lake Zurich will get the same. There's that whiteout from Lake Zurich along with the Lake Zurich band. And you saw in that flip of the coin, Joey Stutzman, as soon as he heard they won the toss, he was so anxious to go play defense.
Well, that's what brought him here. We've talked about it throughout the game, really both teams, but particularly tonight, it's Lake Zurich's defense. all the takeaways that has kept them in the football game. They've done just enough on offense to be here, and they know that if they can get a stop here, they can end this thing quickly.
First 2 touchdowns of the game scored by the Bulldogs from Batavia. The next 2 by Lake Zurich. And now from the 10-yard line. Robert Hinsberger, he had a fumble recovery earlier. Riley Cooper, big night passing. Standing behind him, number 4 is Reggie Phillips. First down. Cooper lets it fly and just gets rid of it. No reason to take any chances on first down.
No, and you know, Dave, it is really amazing the impact Jack Sanborn has on this football game. Cooper thought he had something. He was going to his right, and it looked like he was going to be able to turn the corner. And then all of a sudden, like a bullet, here comes Sanborn, and he was picking up ground on him all the way. Cooper wise to get rid of that football. I think he had made up his mind to run. Sanborn just took that away with that closing speed.
Second down. Complete. Stuttle, touchdown. Tommy Stuttle, the touchdown reception, and Batavia goes up 6.
Well, that was almost too easy. They were definitely dropping back into the end zone. They didn't want to give him anything underneath, but Stuttle came clean underneath and got the ball right at the goal line. Perfect throw from Riley Cooper.
Batavia will go for the 1-point extra point kick from Jack Carlson. Straight through. And a 21-14 lead. And now it's the Bears' turn to go on offense. There's the 3rd touchdown pass of the night from Riley Cooper. This time he finds Tommy Stuttle.
You'll see they run 3 receivers deep, leaving the underneath open. Stuttle comes in underneath, only 1 back to cover him. He's too soft, and you got Stuttle in the end zone.
In a game featuring 2 outstanding defenses, it's now Batavia's turn to play defense. Lewandowski floating to the left side. To the right. It's up for grabs. Knocked away.
Tyus Enders almost made a great catch there. He went up for the ball, but it was just a little too far out in front, unable to come down with it.
Penalty flag thrown, and they are walking backwards. This play took a long time to develop, and this penalty will go against the Bears.
Well, they can't seem to make up their mind what it is.
Holding. Number 6 on the offense. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
So Batavia says, we feel better about playing defense from 10 yards out and you lose a down rather than pushing back and giving an extra down.
I don't understand that. Again, you know, great job all night by Dennis Piron, but I got to take the 15 yards.
And now 2nd down from the 10. Just missing in the end zone. It was Enders again, the intended target. 3rd down.
And that play was there. Lewandowski just led him too far. Again, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, but I am really surprised by the decision to decline that penalty. You look at this throw, he got too strong with it. If he had just laid it in, he had a chance at 6.
Third down for Lake Zurich. Once again, incomplete. It will be 4th down. The Batavia defense, which has been its calling card all season, needs one more play to claim the state championship. Lake Zurich needs one more play to have a chance for their 2nd state title in school history, but first a timeout.
Yeah, Lake Zurich is going to take time and talk it all over. And you know, Dave, this is, to me, the thrill of being able to be part of these games, to be able to be on this broadcast. Most of the kids on this football field who are seniors have the pads on for the last time. Never going to play football, or at least not at this level with, you know, full pads and with the crowd and the officials. And to have this moment at the age of 17 or 18 years old, it is something they'll remember for the rest of their lives. Succeed or fail, and you know, you're going to have one team that does and one team that doesn't. But it's just it's a pivotal moment in these young men's lives, and to have it all come down to this one play. And they all know it. They're all thinking it right now. Let's see which team comes out on top.
One play. Here it is. Up, and Batavia, the state champs.
Dave, that is why Dennis Piron is the head coach, and I am not. He knew his team, he knew his defense, made what I thought was a really risky call. He had a chance at backing the ball up to the 20-25-yard line, said no, we're going to take 3 shots from the 10, and his defense came up big. And in fairness to Lewandowski, other than that 2nd down throw, he didn't have anybody open. It was an excellent job by the Batavia defense. In the end, it had to come down to that, one of these defenses, and Batavia comes out on top.
Our Wintrust play of the game is the final play of the game. The Batavia defense rising to the occasion. One last chance. Well defended, and a state title. Look at the number of crimson jerseys near this ball. 2nd time in school history for Batavia. The first was a 6A title 4 years ago on this field. This Class 7A. The first 2 touchdowns of this game scored by Batavia. The last touchdown scored by Batavia. And what a night for Riley Cooper, our Country Financial Player of the Game. 295 yards in the air. His 5th consecutive game of a 3-touchdown game. He threw the ball hub 42 times tonight.
Yeah, and I just think, you know, coming in, you would have expected maybe 20, maybe 25 attempts. Obviously, with the overtime add, you know, although he only threw 2. But it was the difference in the football game, and it was actually what they did early in the game, throwing the football, that got them there. We have to remember, from early in the 2nd quarter on until overtime, they were shut out, and it was the passing game that they came out with early. They saw something in the Lake Zurich defense. They were able to exploit it. Luke Burtons, the Lake Zurich coach, came out at halftime or after the half and told us, we made some adjustments. We think we have some answers. Obviously, they did. They shut him out in the 2nd half. But in the end, he came up with the big throw that was the difference in the football game.
2 plays in overtime for Batavia on the offensive side, leading to the touchdown. And speaking of overtime, remember way back in round 2, that's when Batavia trailed with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left against Wheaton North. But then Riley Cooper threw a touchdown pass. The Bulldogs eventually getting another touchdown pass from Cooper to defeat Wheaton North in overtime, and they duplicate that here tonight. Let's go down to Sierra Santos. She's with Dennis Piron.
All right, Coach has a victory chance to get to, so we'll make this quick. A thriller to the very end. How exciting is this?
I mean, unbelievable high school football game. I mean, that's amazing. Amazing. Our kids, incredible. Our crowd, we got an unbelievable turnout as always. Great fans, great community, so proud.
How much
so
does this
proud.
title mean to the community?
Oh, it means a lot. I can't believe we have 2 state titles in 4 years, you know, and I don't know. It's great. I'm just thrilled.
Congratulations, Coach. I'll let you get to the chant.
All right, thank you.
I don't know if you can get too much more excited than what you're seeing tonight in Husky Stadium. Your 7A champs, the Batavia Bulldogs. We'll get that trophy presentation brought to you by Menards coming up. Once again in the final, 21-14 overtime win for the Bulldogs.
All right, welcome back. I'm here with Riley Cooper, who is a 7A state title champion. Your coach says you're a tireless worker. You showed that on the field today. How are you going to remember this game?
Yeah, you know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and our coaches did a great job this week helping us out prepare for this game, and everyone is just playing for our brothers. And, you know, when you play for your brothers and you want this so bad, I mean, it's a dream come true, really.
Eric Peterson seemed to be catching everything you were throwing his way. You got a lot of targets, but what can you say about his performance tonight?
Yeah, you know, I mean, he's been a stupendous receiver throughout the whole, playoffs, really. He's a great kid, you know, tall, lengthy, athletic. You know, he's just such an awesome guy to be able to throw the ball to, but don't undermine all the other receivers. I mean, they do a great job to helping get him open, and if they weren't there to make plays, they'd just be able to throw it to.
One last question. How about these fans?
Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic just to see all the fans and all the school kids come down and support us. It's awesome.
All right, well, you have a trophy to get to. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Dave Hubb, let's send it back up to you.
Thank you very much, Sierra. Riley Cooper giving credit to everybody in the stands and everybody on the field with him, and they're speaking of winners as well. That's Lake Zurich, the only loss of the season for Lake Zurich coming in this championship ball game. They will close it out with a 13-1 record as you are watching the Menards Trophy presentation. And for Batavia, their second state title in school history, they too finished with a 13-1 record. Their only loss coming in the last game of the regular season. 2 overtime wins here in the playoffs. They trailed the last 3 games they played in the playoffs up until tonight. And tonight, Batavia got those 2 quick scores. So there's Lake Zurich, Class 7A runner-up. They have a few of those trophies in their trophy case as well. And for Batavia, talk about a nerve-wracking game. They came out early, Hub. They dominated and then survived. Their defense helped survive 4 turnovers tonight.
Yeah, they really, you know, did a great job in the second half. They actually, the entire game, they took away the ground game. They took away Joey Stutzman. They did not allow Lake Zurich to run the ball at any time. They did have Lewandowski make some big plays through the air on him, but at the end of the day, did just enough, and it was that sudden change defense. After the first 2 turnovers, they didn't allow any points off him, and that was really the difference in the outcome of the game.
Well, the 6A game went down to the very final play in regulation. That was an interception to the goal line to preserve the win for Prairie Ridge over Nazareth Academy. This game in 7A went down to the very last play of the game. It happened to be in overtime, and it was a defensive play after the Cooper connection into Tommy Stuttle for the go-ahead score. And with that, a victory for Batavia. Now remember, coming up, the 8A championship ball game, Lincoln Way East and Loyola. Well, all week long, once we had this final field in the 8 classes set, everybody said we're going to have some great games. There's going to be some great games, great matchups. You got one here in 7A. It was an overtime game. What's coming your way in 8A with Lincoln Way East and Loyola? So congratulations to Batavia, the Bulldogs claiming the state title with the overtime victory, 21-14 over Lake Zurich. The Bulldog is happy. He did his job. You can add another little title on his red body. Hold that trophy high, fellas. Congratulations. Stay right there. More action coming up from Husky Stadium right here on NBC Sports Chicago. Congratulations to Batavia. It took overtime, but the Bulldogs, the state titleist, with a 21-14 win.
It's good to know,